What is up, everybody? Happy Saturday, and welcome to the return of Game Spawned. It's going to be, I'm not even sure what it's going to be. I was going to say it's going to be exciting. It's going to be, I don't know. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to the stealth affair, but I feel like I've received a fair amount of warning of, I don't know, highly French game design. I don't know. We'll get to that in a minute. Space Hopper Copter, Track Zero, Why Not, Running Wild, Lurkers in chat, VOD viewers, and everybody else, welcome. I hope you're all doing very, very well indeed. Track Zero, subscribed for 10 months. Thank you very, very much for your continued support. And yes, we are getting a slightly early Saturday stream today because of, well, I was going to say scheduling conflicts. That's not exactly true, but we have, of course, the first round of the World Tondeuse tournament happening tonight. Our team will be competing, and that's going to be exciting, I'm sure. For those of you who had missed that, World Tondeuse is I think it's the 8th season of the Tondeuse d'Oie tournament series, which has been held entirely within the French Twitch retro streamer community for a couple of years. And this time they're doing their first international version of it. Basically, it's going to be a team tournament.
Unspeakable horror awaits you.
Yerg has subscribed for 6 months and earned themselves a brand new pink skull for their efforts. Thank you very, very much for your continued support. And enjoy your pink skull. Yeah, tonight's match starts at 6 p.m. Central European time. So a little less than 6 hours from now. But yeah, so the tournament format, basically, it's all the teams have 4 members. And every match is played in 3 rounds, where the first and third rounds are like solo games, 1 versus 1. And the second round is a co-op 2 versus 2 game of some kind. So all participants have no idea what they're playing ahead of time. It's all like blind playing, and basically the format is every round we play a game for an hour, and whoever gets the furthest determines the winner. And that's basically it. And I think it's a double elimination bracket, I'm pretty sure. There's already been 2 matches in the first round. So we have our match tonight, and there's, I think, the 4th and final first round match tomorrow night, where I will be doing a bit of guest commentary. I'll be commentating for one of the games tomorrow, and I believe Goaty will be commentating for one of them as well. I've been so busy that I wasn't able to catch the entirety of the previous matches, but I caught a little bit here and there, and it was actually a lot of fun. And that is going to be streamed. Do this. Wait, hang on. Let me do this, actually. There we go. Sejouf. That's the channel where you want to go. That's where it's going to be streamed tonight, and I'll continue to shill this later on, of course. But go ahead and give him a follow. That's the channel where all of the tournament matches are happening. So go follow that channel over there and be ready to watch later tonight. But because that starts at 6, I need to be kind of on hand for some prep stuff before that, and I need to have some time to eat and whatnot before we start. So I'm probably gonna wrap up stream roughly somewhere in the 3 to 4 p.m. range. So 3 to 4 hours, maybe. We'll see, something like that. You can also possibly tell from my voice that I'm in slightly rough shape today. Had a work outing last night, and it was a lot of fun. I posted a picture on my Discord. We went to a pretty fancy restaurant, which was very expensive, but it was incredibly delicious, so it was a pretty good time all around. And then we went back to the office and did some karaoke for a couple of hours. My boss had invested in a karaoke machine for Christmas for the company. It's like, hey, that seems like a fun thing to do, and it is. It is very fun indeed. So my my voice is a bit shot, and I didn't feel like I was being that like physically active. It's not like we went out like dancing or anything, but when I don't know, when I went up this morning, I was like, oh man, I just felt, I don't know, I felt every one of my 37 years, I guess. I'm just not quite cut out for this stuff, at least not on a weekly basis, but every now and then, you know, it's pretty fun. So we yeah, I had a good time, but I'm a little bit sore. So I think today is going to be a pretty low-key affair. I'm glad that the game we're playing, whenever we get to it, at least it's not a very kind of Twitch action-y kind of game. It should be pretty comfy, slow-paced affair, although harsh and tough in its own way, I'm sure.
Unspeakable horror awaits you.
Man, we're just getting unspeakable horrors left and right. Brunan G subscribed for 5 months. Happy Saturday to you, my friend. Happy Saturday indeed. Not tell the type of cuisine. Yeah, I guess from the plating it's a bit hard to see, but yeah, it's kind of a I don't know if it's quite fair to call it like a tapas sort of thing. It's not like Spanish food, but it's just kind of the format. It's all, I don't know, maybe or it's just fancy because the servings like are very small. But I guess it was the stuff I'd had was mostly Italian. It was like a squid spaghetti thing, and I had what's it called? Arancini something, like fried balls of rice and something or other, and an incredibly delicious like shellfish soup. It was all really good stuff, but I'll I don't know, if I keep talking about it, I'm just gonna get even more hungry. I had a fairly light breakfast. but yeah, it was good. It was good. I had a good time. I don't go out to do that kind of stuff very often, so very fun. But like I said, a little sore today. Hey, what's up, Broccoli Donut? That's fine. I can't speak, so we're good. One of the most typical foods from Sicily. All right, there you go. Yeah, I wasn't familiar. It was pretty good, but honestly, it was probably the least impressive of the dishes I had. I mean, it was fine. I liked it, but the spaghetti and the soup were excellent. Well, cheers. Really not sure what this flavor is, but Ultra Rosa, whatever that means. But hey, went down okay. I can need some energy. Anyway, on the agenda today is, of course, some Games Bond action. I have received in the mail, well, technically it's arrived, but I haven't been able to collect it yet. I have a box of toys that's going to need some unboxing, and I was contemplating trying to grab it to stream today, but since I wasn't sure how long I'd be able to stream and everything, like, I felt, maybe we'll put that off a little bit. I don't want to do like half of an unboxing, but mostly I was just feeling anxious to finally get started on this Bond game, because streaming has been and will probably continue to be a little bit erratic for me, basically for the duration of February. I want to make sure to get started at least on this game while I can, and then hopefully it won't be too dragged out with like sporadic streaming, but we'll have to make it work. But there will be a decently sized toy unboxing in the not too distant future, I would say. In fact, I still actually have kind of see in the back there. There's some toys that we looked at very briefly during the Christmas stream that I haven't actually properly unpacked. They're out of the shipping box, but I haven't unboxed the actual figures yet, so we'll probably do that alongside everything else. What else? What else? Other kind of housekeeping news type stuff. I think there was something, but I forget, man. Like, my head isn't quite there 100% today, but well, we're keeping it casual. It'll be fine. I would say then that I think it's time for us to go over some Bond stuff, because before we can dive into playing the Stealth Affair, there's a good handful of things that we need to address first. That's one. Thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome. Honestly, needs street food kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like the place we went to is, it was a fancy place. Of course, they're gonna have their fancy version of stuff, but that makes sense. Like, it kind of, for some reason, it maybe it's just because they're like little balls, but I don't know. They remind me of something like takoyaki or something, which obviously isn't like something I get here, but the same kind of like fried deep fried street food kind of thing. Like, it's pretty easy. I can see it being very easy to cook quickly and just eat on the go. So that, I guess that makes sense. But enough about Italian street food. Let's talk Bond. So, we will take a look at some information and some details on the Stealth Affair. But first, we have not really how I planned it, but due primarily to the overwhelming generosity of Lord Dagger Joe, who gifted about 5,000 subs. Not exactly, that's a rough estimate, but he gifted a lot of subs. The Q Branch funding initiative has gone completely off the rails, and is entirely, I don't know, just look at it. Okay, and it's even further ahead than an hour ago, because you guys keep subbing, which I, of course, is endlessly appreciative of. You can finally retire. Well, he can take a few weeks off, maybe. So we had set the goal for secret mission number 2 at 15,000. The original one was 20,000. I was still trying to kind of, gauge what's an appropriate level of funding for each of these kind of milestones. And it took a while to get us to the first goal. And now we've gotten goal number 2. And the first secret game is the most recent game we played. So we're already getting to secret mission number 2, like immediately following secret mission number 1. And that wasn't exactly how I had planned it or expected things to go. So I think we'll do a little bit of readjustment. I'll say this much. We're not going to start unlocking goal number 3 until we at least start playing secret mission number 2. But because that gets all weird, we're definitely going to play the Stealth Affair first. But the game following the Stealth Affair will be secret mission number 2. Yeah, the first secret game was awesome. I wasn't expecting much from this like weird solo developer multi-genre adventure game from 1982, but honestly, like, it can hang with most of the other Bond games we played so far. And I mean, I think it's fair to say that it's better than some of them. I mean, it had some questionable game design elements for sure, like a lot of randomness, but it was pretty cool. Like, it captured a lot of Bond-esque vibes and elements. And I mean, it had pause. You can't really ask for too much more than that. But I mean, jokes aside, the whole first-person 3D maze and the international travel. I mean, it's pretty hilarious when you, like, I don't know, you come across like rogue priests on the street of Rome who attack you, and you have to use your limited ammunition knife to fend them off. And I don't know, then you fight various wildlife on Dr. Death's island. It was a pretty cool game. It's a pretty cool game. So, the game we're talking about, for those who missed it, was Shaken But Not Stirred. I'm not yet, I think, put this VOD up on YouTube, but it is available on Twitch. If you go to my videos page, you can catch up on the stream of this game. Shaken But Not Stirred. So, now that we have reached the goal, what then is secret mission number 2? Well, secret mission number 2 is 007 Aqua Base for the Texas Instruments TI-99A4, also developed in 1982. Created by Scott Morgan, the first in the TI Ventures series of adventure games. As can be expected, it is inspired by James Bond books and movies, with the player taking the role of the secret agent. An evil computer operator is planning to blow up the world, and the player's task is to find his hidden Aqua Base, backfire his lasers, and then escape before everything blows up. It all has to be done within 19 minutes. Not sure about this plan. Like, I assume it's like, I was gonna say that it's like inspired by shit, is it The Spy Who Loved Me? Yeah, that's the one that had the underwater base, right? But it's like evil computer operator who's just like, he's so evil he's just gonna explode the planet because that's the most evil thing you could think of. It's you know, one might argue that the James Bond series is not necessarily known for its most three-dimensional villain characters, but even so, usually they have a slightly more believable, relatable, logical motivation, but who knows. Cody, what's up? Happy Saturday. So this is also, as you might expect, not a officially licensed game, which is why it was not included on the original game list. Unlike Shaken But Not Stirred, which appeared to be basically sold by a dude out of his garage, more or less. This is like published by a company. I mean, I guess the difference might be, you know, it's a thin line there between, like, you know, garage operations and like actual publisher, and I don't know the details, but there's no official licensing, copyright, anything anywhere as far as I can tell. Also, I mean, the game, you know, I guess we'll see in the game, but the packaging and whatever, like, it doesn't actually say James Bond, it says 007. You know, maybe that's avoiding the use of character names and like specifics, is trying to skirt the kind of legal rights issues. I don't know. I mean, presumably they didn't give a shit, and it's, you know, it's all there, but we'll see. We'll see. So we're going to be playing the Stealth Affair first, but this will hopefully be the next game after that. The thing is, I have had some real difficulties getting this game up and running. Most of the stuff we're doing, like even for Shaken But Not Stirred, like that was a Spectrum game, and I've emulated Spectrum stuff in the past. But TI-99 is completely uncharted territory for me. And a while back when I was setting all this stuff up, I was doing a bit of research. But I mean, especially with computer stuff, you have this additional layer of complication where not only do you have to get the emulation set up and working, to a degree, you might also just need to know how to operate the computer in question, like how to load software and how to run it. Like, there's a lot of things like that. I have an image of some kind. I guess it's a tape image. I think this is a tape-based system. In fact, I think I have the program like as an actual wave audio file. And you're supposed to be able to load audio files as images in this emulator, but it didn't work because like the sample rate of the audio file isn't the right quality or something. Like there were some kind of weird issues like that. It's been a while since I looked at it, so I don't have it all top of mind, but I remember having a little bit of difficulty with it. So if anyone in chat happens to be, well, I was gonna say an expert. You don't even have to be an expert. If you have any amount of insight into how to get TI-99 games to run, feel free to lend me a hand. The easiest way is probably to get in touch on Discord. So let me drop a link right here, right now. Oh, if I can spell Discord, that'd help. I'm gonna continue to do research on my own, of course, and hopefully I'll get it all sorted. But if anyone does have any insight, I'd welcome any kind of assistance. The white noise. Yeah, I mean, sure, that should work, right? I'll just look at the waveform and I'll just you know, repeat the noise into the microphone. Yeah, that should work. So we'll see. But I'm confident that it's going to be possible to get it to run one way or the other. Yeah, why not? Like I said, you know, I really appreciate it if you can manage something. No pressure, but that'd be very, very kind. But that's neither here nor there, because today is all about James Bond, the Stealth Affair. Mission number 9, and we will be playing the DOS version. I was doing a little bit of digging into this as well, and I went into this feeling confident that the Amiga version would be the one to play. At this point, I'm a little more unsure. It's not as crystal clear to me, from what little I've seen anyway, what version is, if any, is like strictly superior across the board. But I was messing around a bit with emulators and ScumVM and various solutions for playing this game, and I basically where I landed was, well, I got the American DOS version with the Bond branding, up and running with MT32 audio or some approximation thereof. And I think I figured basically that, well, we're good enough there. I'd still like to play the Amiga version. I'd like to get the Amiga version up and running in ScumVM, which is supposedly possible, but I have not yet been able to crack that nut. But given that it's taken so long to kind of get to this point, I figured, you know what, let's not keep putting it off in pursuit of some hypothetical perfection if we have something that's good enough. And you know, if in the process of playing this we discover things that seem like we would want to see what they're like or hear what they're like, because the audio is, I think, a big deal in the Amiga version, maybe we can get that. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time we're playing multiple versions of a game, right? And maybe we'll even watch YouTube videos or something. We'll see it when we get there. Thing is, too, you know, my impression of this game, having not yet played it, but from everyone's kind of description and advice and warnings and whatever, is that it's a pretty difficult game. That's what I remember. A friend of mine had this game when we were kids, and I basically remember us not getting anywhere. My impression from what I've heard about these Delphine Software point-and-click adventures, excuse me, is that they are just filled to the brim with soft locks, and they're like very, actually, I guess they remind, the way people have described them reminds me of the text adventures we played, the Bond, a Goldfinger and View to a Kill, in that they're like short, they're very linear, they're very specific, but you have to kind of, you just have to do exactly what you're meant to do, and there's things that are easy to miss, and you don't necessarily get any kind of hints that you've missed something. So a lot of the challenge and the time it takes to figure the game out is to sort of chart when and where you might have missed things, as opposed to like figuring out the logic and the solution of a puzzle. So they seem to me like they can be very kind of tricky and in some ways frustrating and sort of tough games to play. But I imagine, like on the flip side, if you do know the solution, that they're probably very short and it's kind of simple to play through. That's the impression I have. I don't know if it's entirely accurate, but that's the gist kind of what I've heard of these games. I say these games, Delphian Software made a couple of point-and-click adventures using their Cinematique system. But of course, only one of them stars James Bond, and even that is kind of an edge case. Because of course, this game was not originally developed as an actual James Bond game. But it became one sort of after the fact. But the other games, Future Wars and Cruise for a Corpse, of course, have absolutely nothing to do with Bond, so they're not going to be relevant for this challenge, project, whatever we want to call it. But in this game, what are we up to? As British super agent James Bond, just back from holiday in Kuwait, you will find yourself plunged headlong into the world of international espionage, sent across the globe in an attempt to find the missing super secret stealth bomber. The list of suspects include a Latin American dictator, the Russian KGB, and possibly organized crime. Originally released in Europe as Operation Stealth in 1989, Interplay rebranded the game with the 007 license for the US market in 1990. That is indeed the version we will be playing. So of course, you know, it started, from my understanding anyway, they basically changed the name of the main character. That's like the one change they did. Well, and the box. Like, the game was of course already kind of a pastiche on James Bond, so they didn't necessarily have to change much. Story-wise, I understand that there's a couple of things that sort of make no sense in terms of it being Bond, because he works for the CIA, I guess, in this game. But sure, why not? I think it's kind of fun, and you know, it's a weird thing, but it makes for an interesting kind of interesting tiny little sliver of James Bond video game history, in that we have this one game that wasn't a Bond game, but then they just decided that it should be one, or they had the ability to make it one. So they did, and here we are. Now, as we have learned from experience doing James Bond, no matter what kind of game we're playing, but as long as we're dealing with European computer games in particular, we cannot trust that the game itself will sufficiently inform us on what we're meant to do. In other words, we need to consult the manual for additional lore, hints and tips, vital information, clues, copy protection, probably, and other things. So let us carefully peruse the manual. Let us, in fact, examine manual carefully, speaking of the text adventure games, and see what we can learn. Shall we? I think we have it all ready to go here, so let's take a look. There we go. 007, James Bond, The Stealth Affair, published by Interplay in North America. It was originally a US Gold release. We should probably look at, by the way, we can do that later, but the original European box art is pretty incredible. Got a very different vibe from this. This is like pretty simple, but I like this cover a lot. I mean, we've seen some pretty heinous Bond game covers. We've seen some pretty sick ones, but it's been very peaks and valleys. And I think this one is at least pretty stylish. I guess it's hard to see in pictures, but the James Bond and stealth texts, like you can see the difference in the cover art that I have right here, which is like a scanned box, and the manual we're looking at here. Like on the box, it's this metallic reflective print, whatever you call it, which is always a cool effect. But let's get into it. Stealth Affair. Exchanges. We will exchange between your James Bond The Stealth Affair 5.25-inch discs and 3.5-inch discs if you send us your original discs and a check for $10 in US funds. Alright, I don't think we need to do that. We advise you make backups of original diskettes and only use the copies to play the game. Alright, that's forward thinking. Loading instructions. I don't think we quite need to worry too much about this. Insert your backup of James Bond Disc 1. Yeah. You'll want to run the install program. Yep, I think we got this covered. Got the Delphine Software Cinematique logo here. It's pretty sick. The Cinematique is like the name of their adventure game kind of engine system that they used for these games, which is like the interface. It looks pretty much the same between this game and Future Wars and Crusader Corps. And yeah, it's gonna be cool. I think this game, having looked at all the other Bond games up until this point, I think this game will represent a fairly massive jump in like presentation and visual quality. I mean, The Spy Who Loved Me had some really insane pixel art and like really good quality. But there's more, I think, of an kind of artistic flair to some of the stuff in this. Like obviously the whole adventure game, like it's got this more, well, cinematic style to it, which is going to be a nice change of pace from these like tiny little lemming sprite top-down Bond games and stuff. Going to refer to PCs as IBM compatibles. Yeah. Good old days of IBM compatibles. All right. More. Actually, can we just oh, there we go. Installation instructions. All right, here we go. The actual manual. How to play the game. Game system. James Bond uses the Cinematique system. This is a new game system which is entirely mouse controlled and is designed to make the game as user-friendly as possible. We'll see about that. Moving James Bond. The character you are playing moves across the screen as you direct it. To move him, point the mouse cursor to where you want him to go. James will then move to the designated spot. James will stop on the way if an obstacle blocks his path. All you have to do is designate a different spot which will enable him to move around the obstacle. Duly noted. The activation menu. Through James, you can take a wide variety of actions using a very simple activation menu. The activation menu is displayed when you press the right-hand button of the mouse. Move the menu bar to the chosen action and press the left-hand button. You can take the following actions. Examine enables you to obtain more details about an object in your environment. When the mouse cursor becomes a plus, choose the object to be examined and press the left-hand button. To examine an item already in your inventory, press the right-hand button when Examine is highlighted and your inventory list will appear. Okay, that's good to know. Select the item in your inventory you want to examine and press the left-hand button. Note, just as in real life, your character will not be able to see some of the details if he is too far away from the object he is looking at. Okay, that seems like it's gonna come into play in some obtuse and annoying ways, maybe. But, again, good advice to keep in mind. Take. Used when you want to collect objects that seem to be useful. When the mouse cursor becomes a plus, choose the object to be taken and press the left-hand mouse button. Inventory tells you at all times what objects you have. Press one of the two mouse buttons to quit the inventory. Use allows you to take action using an object in... Oh, no, okay. Can't quite scroll page by page, I guess. Well, whatever. In your inventory to affect an object or person in your environment. Example, you have a key which you want to use to open a door. Use key on door. You want to give money to your boss? If you're insane. Use money on boss. You want to lace up your shoes? Use laces on James. Okay, I think we get the hang of this. Use money on Moneypenny. Yeah, maybe we'll see. We'll see what options we have. Hulky was involved. Fully expect Deathtrap QTE reaction sequences. Well, he very much was. So I'm sure I expect I expect a steady stream of Goaty Paul emotes as we play the game. Probably well deserved. When a cursor changes into a plus, select the object you want to use from the list, then click on the object or person it is to be used on. If you want to use an item on another item in your inventory, click on the first item you want to use with the right-hand button. Your inventory list will reappear. Select the item you want to take action on by highlighting it and pressing the left-hand button. I don't know, it sounds like the kind of thing that's convoluted to describe in text, but I reckon it's going to be pretty intuitive once we get to it. Operate. Now that's a French verb, if ever I saw one. Lets you take action on an object or person. Example, to open a door. Operate door. To swing a pickaxe. Operate pickaxe. To dig in rubble. Operate rubble. When the mouse cursor changes into a plus, select the object on which you want to take action and press the left-hand button of the mouse. You can operate an item in your inventory by clicking on Operate with the right-hand button. Speak will allow you to talk to the people you are going to meet. When the mouse cursor changes to a plus, indicate the character to whom you want to speak and press the left-hand button of the mouse. The User menu. This menu offers functions which are not part of the game itself, but which will, for instance, allow you to save, make backups, or reload previous sessions. I'm a little unclear on what, if any, distinction there is between saving and making backups, but whatever. You can access this menu by pressing the two mouse buttons simultaneously. So I think in ScumVM there's some keyboard shortcut for it, but that's good to know. Because I was booting this up and being a little confused about the interface, actually. Well, not confused so much as unfamiliar, and I was trying to just get my bearings, but that's good to know that that's how it's sort of intended to work. Pause. The game is paused when the user menu is active. Restart enables you to start the session again from the very beginning. Quit exits to DOS. Backup drive, used for indicating to the program which disk drive you want to use for saved games. Yeah, this kind of stuff we should not really have to worry about with ScumVM. Load. Continue playing a game you have backed up. When the program asks you to insert the backup diskette, the list of saved sessions which are on the backup diskette will be displayed. Save, yeah. Note, you can back up a session as long as Bond is alive. Consequently, we advise you to use this option regularly and each time the situation is potentially dangerous, which I suppose is at literally any given time. During some animation sequences, when you are not able to control your character, you will not be able to save the game. But be assured that nothing very dangerous will happen during these sequences, unless it is already too late to take preventative action. Alright, so nothing bad will happen unless it'll happen. And then you're shit out of luck anyway. It's like, oh, you won't be able to save, but don't worry about that, because it's going to be too late anyway. I mean, in a sense, it's a good thing, of course, that the game's not going to let you save in the middle of a cutscene where your character's dying or whatever. But I think we're going to need multiple saves regardless. Playing from the keyboard, IBM only. The arrow keys will move the pixel cursor around. Pressing the shift key, blah blah. I think I'm not even sure any of this would apply to the ScumVM version. Obviously, the keyboard is just simulating the mouse controls anyway, so there's no reason we would want to use this, I would suspect. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of opportunities to save the game in such a way that we are in an unsalvageable state, whether or not Bond is on the literal verge of death or not. Yeah, pretty much, Broccoli, pretty much. Alright. Oh yeah, so actually this is interesting. If I can make any sense of this. The shift key used in conjunction with F1 or F5. Okay, yeah, so that's kind of what I was... Plus and minus will speed up and slow down animations respectively, especially useful in arcade sequences. Okay, so if we can adjust game speed, that's really good, because when I booted this game up, it seems to basically run at an excruciatingly slow speed, like by design. Again, it's hard to say if these kinds of details will apply one-to-one in ScumVM, but I at least will know to try it. But yeah, this is what I wanted to see too. The function keys will allow direct access to menus and menu option as follows. F1 through F6 are the verbs. F9 display the action menu. F10 display the user menu. So the action is the action menu the same as the activation menu? Isn't that what they called it? User menu, yeah, the activation menu. All right, okay. I'm assuming that's what they mean. Advice to new players. All right, here we go. If you're playing an adventure game for the first time, here are a few suggestions. Carefully examine all the objects on the screen at every new point in the game. Note that some objects are only 1 or 2 pixels wide. Advice to fucking adventure game developers. Maybe don't make items 1 or 2 pixels wide. Just throwing that out there. In case you're making an adventure game 32 years ago, maybe don't do that. We'll see. Read the messages displayed very carefully because they may give you important clues on how to proceed to the next step in the adventure. Good advice. Use every opportunity you can to take action. What the hell kind of an advice is that? You should do stuff at any opportunity. All right. As opposed to choosing, like, electing to remain a passive observer? I don't know. Maybe they're saying, like, don't be afraid of what's going to happen. Like, just go ahead and do stuff, which I don't know if that's good advice, but we'll you know, we'll take it into consideration and we will make sure to take action any opportunity we can. Talk to everyone you can. They may be able to help you choose the best route. Okay. Most objects you can examine in the game have a purpose. Try operating them or using various items on them. Back up your game as soon as you sense danger. If, in spite of all this, you find yourself stuck at any point in the game, check to see whether you have forgotten an object or if you've forgotten to do something earlier on. How do you check if you forgot something? I mean, I appreciate them putting these kinds of advice, you know, sections in here. I just don't know how much of this is actually very actionable. Type of advice I hope suddenly makes sense once you're playing. Yeah, we'll see about that. For your eyes only, Operation Stealth. Confidential report. James Bond has long been a decorated member of the British Secret Service. His mission success record is outstanding, which is why he's been chosen for numerous dangerous and seemingly impossible international missions. His reputation hinges upon his innate ability to survive. In fact, it could be said that his ability to kill is surpassed only by his ability not to get killed. It's a pretty good line, I like that. The mission he's being entrusted with today is of vital importance. The diplomatic stability of the world hangs in the balance. Confidential dossier. Oh, we're getting the Bond lore. We're getting all the facts. All the James Bond dating sim hopefuls out there, you better take notes. Subject, Agent 007, James Bond. Height, 1.83 meters. Weight, 76 kilos. Eyes blue, hair black. Distinguishing marks. Small scar on left cheek as well as on left shoulder. Signs of plastic surgery on back of right hand. I'm actually curious if any of this is like from the books. Because obviously it's not really the kind of detail that comes up in the movies. Nor does his, you know, eye or hair color remain entirely consistent between different actors. Expertise, all-around athlete, expert swimmer, diver, skier, and driver. Exceptional marksman, knife thrower, and boxer. Has also been trained in the art of judo. Is known to be quite fluent in French and German as well. Vices. Bond has a weakness for beautiful women. Drinks vodka martinis, but not to excess. Smokes specially made cigarettes. Only Custom made. All right, okay, I suppose. Other observations. Is usually armed with a Walther PPK kept in a holster under his left arm. Has seldom been known to use a disguise. Generally fights with much tenacity and has an unusually high tolerance to pain. General information. Bond belongs to a branch of the Secret Service that is now referred to as the Special Section. This is known to be just a new name for the supposedly abolished 00 section. Abolished or not, he holds the secret number 007. The 00 numerals signify that the agent has killed and has a license to kill in active duty. Oh, this is pretty cool. I like this part. Oh, dude, it just keeps going. Holy shit. Background. Orphaned at the age of 11, James Bond went to live with his aunt in a small English hamlet. By the time he graduated from FET at the age of 17, he had already gained a reputation as a great boxer. He went on to attend Cambridge, but left to join the Royal Navy. He excelled in his training and honed his skills as a crack shot and master of self-defense. These skills brought him to the attention of M, head of MI5, a branch of the British Secret Service, who arranged for then Ensign Bond to act as a courier to East Berlin. The tremendous success of his first mission, having not only found a double agent but disposing of him nicely, Bond was recruited by M into the investigation and enforcement branch, and the rest is Bond history. The beginning of Bond lore right there. Previous missions, restricted access, top secret documents. Oh, we can't get... That's pretty cool. We don't have access to his previous missions. Luckily, we know of at least 8 previous missions because we have first-hand experience. So we're pretty well right up there. Current mission, recover the stealth bomber. We're sending you to Santa Paragua immediately because Agent 006, who's been on a mission there for the last 6 months, has sent this worrying telex. Important information about the stealth affair. Stop. I need urgent help. Stop. Your first task should be to find and assist Agent 006. We've learned he has some important documents which reveal the location of the stealth. You're on your own after that. So, just a side note there. It's pretty impressive for this kind of story to not start with the mysterious death of a fellow 00 agent. That seems to be the kind of standard operating procedure. So, I mean, this mission is already starting off pretty strong if the previously sent agent is actually still alive, to the best of our knowledge anyway. So that's a promising start. Suspects. Suspect number 1, General Manigua. He was democratically elected by the Paraguayan people 3 years ago. At that time, he was adored by his fellow countrymen. He had thwarted a military junta, is that how you say that? I don't know. That threatened to seize power. General Manigua was not known then as General, but as President Manigua. He had never been a military man, but had studied sociology at Harvard. Unfortunately, he has changed a lot since he came to power, but we do not know the reasons why. A year ago, he assumed the title of General and dissolved the People's Assembly, making himself dictator. Hate it when that happens. The country is now in a state of siege. Even his own family no longer recognize the good President Manigua. Freedom of speech has disappeared in Santa Paragua. No one dare voice any opposition. General Manigua has surrounded himself with a terrifying secret police force, which is ruthlessly efficient in its repression of political opponents. It is under these circumstances that a resistance group called Libertad has been formed. This group struggles in secret against the dictatorship. According to them, Manigua is only the puppet of an international crime syndicate. However, opinions are divided in the group. Other members believe that Manigua rules the country with a rod of iron by himself. Since General Manigua plunged the country into dictatorship, we have ceased to support him. We are now supplying Libertad with arms to fight Manigua's secret police, making us Manigua's enemy number 1. For without our arms supplies, the local resistance would be incapable of fighting. Alright. That's some good world building kind of background texture there. Suspect number 2, the KGB. Over the last few years, our relations with the Soviet Union have improved considerably. We have jointly signed several treaties in such areas as disarmament and trade. The present leaders of the Soviet Union seem to be looking for dialogue. However, in the heart of the Supreme Soviet, There are extremist elements who advocate the destruction of capitalism and war with the United States. We also know that Soviet scientists have been working for the last 2 years on an aviation project similar to stealth. The man in charge of the project, Professor Lukasevich, fled the USSR and sought asylum in West Germany. Since he left, the project has been frozen. It could be that the Soviets, unsettled by our progress on the stealth project, have stolen our technological jewel to copy it. Did they act in collaboration with General Manigua? We have no clues. That's so cool. Like we're getting into this sort of detective mystery aspect almost, and we have these kind of we're going into this with some idea of like what the situation is like. I mean, it's a pretty thorough briefing, the likes of which we haven't really seen in any kind of Bond games. And presumably, if you just went into the game without reading this, you would maybe get very... like, you wouldn't get all this kind of detail and texture to it. Even if a lot of this detail is, like, completely irrelevant to the actual gameplay, just having it there for, like, world building adds a lot, I think. So that's cool. I like this. Appendix A, Stealth Fighter Model A. I'm sure this is, like, not going to be that important, but let's go over it. Armament. Selected targets are located by laser technology, which guides the bombs onto the chosen one. Target error factor 0.001%. 2 missiles with nuclear warheads, so-called smart bombs. Each bomb can destroy a town the size of New York in 10 seconds. Pretty bad. Fuel. A mixture of refined aviation fuel, CAT-08, and 34% liquid hydrogen. Quantity of fuel, minimum of 300 liters. Stealth Model A is not refuelable in flight. This option will be incorporated in Model B. Option OZX jams all radars. When it is in operation, the stealth fighter is undetectable. Speed, 3,000 kilometers per hour. From 0 to 800 kilometers per hour in 5 seconds. Option Ultra. From 800 to 2,500 kilometers per hour in 3 seconds. Option Hyper Boost. Danger. Only use Hyper Boost option in cases of last resort, because the fuel consumption is enormous. There is a risk of fuel shortage. I'm guessing, when I said that this isn't relevant, like I'm talking about things like the exact percentage of the target error factor. But kind of details they're talking about here, and I guess just the existence of the plane and everything, like, surely before this is all said and done, Bond's gonna be piloting this plane, right? We're gonna go into hyper boost. I hope so anyway. They're setting up for it. Chekhov's stealth bomber, you know. Appendix B. Weapons available for this mission must be returned. Alright, so is this the Q branch stuff? I guess so. False attaché case. The false attaché case has a double bottom. Calculator. Never take the calculator far away from the attaché case. Calculator is linked with the attaché case by an infrared beam. Infrared technology seems a little, I don't know, susceptible to issues here, but alright. If you separate the calculator from the attaché case, the infrared beam is broken, setting off an explosion equivalent to 10 kilos of plastic explosive. Serious damage to everything within a radius of 10 meters. That seems... for that kind of destructive power, relying on an infrared beam seems... inadvisable? But what do I know? NTY Forger. This ultra-modern machine is designed to forge passports. The forger is in the secret compartment of the attaché case and has 3 programs. False French passport, false British passport, false German passport. Type in the required code on the calculator to get the NTY Forger. Use the nationality best suited to the current political situation. Use the arrows on the NTY Forger to select the nationality you have chosen. Press the button to confirm your choice. Note: this attaché case is a new invention of our weapons service. The director of the service, Q, is very attached to it. Alright, so that's the subtle hint that he's going to be very upset and disappointed when we inevitably lose it or break it or blow it up. I mean, that's the brakes. The watch cable. This can be an invaluable aid under any circumstances. An object like a watch is so ordinary that it would never raise the suspicions of your enemies. For example, the watch cable was very useful to Agent 002 during a chase over the roofs in Hong Kong in the course of his last mission. After stealing documents from the Chinese Secret Services building in Hong Kong, Agent 002 was spotted by the security services of the building. After a wild chase, 002 found himself in the roof of the building. The enemy was at his heels. There was another building facing 002. He used the cable option on his watch and was thus able to escape from his pursuers. I love that they have a little illustration of how that worked. Like half a page describing your equipment, giving us like the rundown of how it was used by Agent 002 in the past. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Maximum length of cable, 30 meters. Maximum weight, the cable will support, 100 kilograms. The cable plays out in 10 seconds. The cable will only attach to solid walls. Now, needless to say, this is all going to be like actual crucial. Like, we're obviously going to use these gadgets in the game, right? So, I mean, I don't think we need to specifically memorize these exact numbers, but we should have an idea of how this is expected to be used. The cutting pen. Just like the watch, an ordinary pen will never awaken the suspicions of your enemies. The cutting pen looks like an ordinary fountain pen. It is special because it contains a pressurized capsule of benzoic acid. When the swivel ring on the pen is... Can't read. When the swivel ring on the pen body is turned through 180 degrees, the benzoic acid capsule depressurizes and lets drops of benzoic acid fall from the nib of the pen. Properties of benzoic acid: dissolves all metals, amount of acid needed. So I reckon this could come into play, right? Steel, 3 drops. Iron, 2 drops. Gold, 10 drops. Manganese, I have no idea what that is, but it requires 5 drops. Tungsten, 1 drop. Platinum, 8 drops. Lead, 12 drops. And copper, 2 drops. Swivel ring. Use the prescribed number of drops. If you exceed the dose, the vapors given off by the chemical reaction could suffocate you. Alright. That's one way we're going to be able to die, I'm sure. Note! The cutting pen was used successfully by Agent 001 to escape from the Almudena prison. The recording razor. Make sure the razor contains a blank microcassette. To do this, first press the eject button. You will find the microcassette where it's shown in the drawing. Is there a drawing of the recording razor? Is that the thing on the right? Doesn't tell me anything about a microcassette. I don't know, maybe it's on the next page. Actually, it wouldn't make much sense. Whatever. We'll figure it out. Make sure the cassette has been rewound. Replace the cassette. To record a conversation, switch the on-off switch to the on position. The shaving heads will now function as very powerful microphones, capable of recording any conversation within a radius of 20 meters of the razor. When the razor is recording, the indicator light is green. When the razor is not recording, the indicator light is red. When the cassette is full, the razor rewinds it automatically. When the cassette has been rewound, the indicator light changes to red. Recording time of the microcassette, 30 minutes. So presumably, we at some point of the game need to sneak our way into some kind of secret conversation and record it. It's pretty cool to get this detailed rundown of all this gear. Because I think it makes sense, like most other types of games that we've played, they will have a significantly less room for these kinds of details. Even games that had a bunch of Q gadgets, at the end of the day, they usually are like just weapons, right? So here we actually get a lot of these gadgets that are kind of described in great detail, and the usage of them is going to be a lot more like you would expect from the movies, right? So it's pretty cool to have all this, and I feel like, I'm assuming we're going to just get the briefcase and it's going to have all this stuff in it, and we're going to like mostly carry it with us through the game. So we can kind of keep in mind what we have in our toolbox for any situations that come up. Any opportunities to take action, as it were. All right, safe cracking box. Allows you to find the combination of any safe. This box was dreamt up by the world-famous burglar known as the Cracker. When he was caught by Agent 003, this mastermind of burglary told us all of his secrets. With his help, Q perfected the code-breaking box. Let it be said that Q added his own personal touches so as to improve on the ideas of the Cracker. Warning: the code-breaking box is powered by 2 batteries containing enriched mercury. This substance allows it to sense all of the infinitesimal variations in sound. That is why it is used in the box. The disadvantage of enriched mercury is that it does not last very long when in use. You must act quickly. The cigarette case. This cigarette case contains 2 types of cigarettes. A. Rocket launching cigarettes. B. Fingerprint revealing cigarettes. You'd hate to use the wrong kind. Rocket launching cigarettes. This cigarette contains a rocket near the filter. The rocket is linked to a heat sensor at the end of the cigarette by a minute thread. When the cigarette is lit, the thread burns and launches the rocket. Characteristics of the rocket. Length, 3 centimeters. Range, 25 meters. Hit rate at 5 meters, 100%. 10 meters, 95%. 15 meters, 92.5%. 20 meters, 90%. And at 25 meters, 87.5%. That's still pretty good for being its max range. Hey, what's up, Bad Weed? Nice to see you here. Hope all as well. Yeah, a friend of mine had this game when we were kids, and I remember not really getting anywhere. I have zero memory of ever looking at the manual, though. I mean, I'm sure he had a legit copy of it, because he had a bunch of adventure games that he had, like, boxed copies of. But I don't remember us ever looking at the manual. So, I'm assuming the picture on the upper right is the safe cracking box. It's a little hard. It looks like I don't know, a mini disc player or something, but I'm guessing that's not it. It's weird. The text describes the text of the recording razor is the only one that makes reference to an illustration. Yeah, it says you will find the microcassette where it is shown in the drawing. The only gadget that references the drawing is the one gadget that does not have a drawing. It's a little strange, but like I said, maybe it's on the next page. Yeah, the copy protection thing I've looked at, that should not be an issue. One of the things that I'm glad that at least I looked at ahead of time, but it's a very simple copy protection scheme, actually. So it's not too convoluted to kind of... I mean, it's a copy protection scheme that hinged entirely on people not being able to photocopy things in color, basically. Not as much of a hurdle in 2023 as it was in 1990. It can destroy an object the size of a car. You can identify rocket launching cigarettes by the red bands. That's good to know. Fingerprint revealing cigarettes. That's right, the second kind of cigarette. The cigarette contains an ultra-sensitive microfilm made of chromium dioxide. With this microfilm, you can photograph any fingerprint. All you have to do is place the microfilm on the spot where you have found the fingerprint. The computerized database research unit can then identify the owner of the fingerprint you have photographed. You can identify fingerprint revealing cigarettes by their blue bands. Technical supports and hints. You may reach the hint system by dialing 1-900-370-PLAY. All hint questions must be directed to this 900 line, as there will be no hints given on our customer support lines. The hint line is open 24 hours a day. I don't know, that seems crazy to me. The charge for this service is $1.25 for the first minute and 75 cents for every additional minute. All long distance charges are included in this. I'm trying to think, like, even taking into account inflation and whatever else, I feel like this is, I mean, it's expensive, of course, but it's not, like, when I'm trying to think of, Actually, the same friend who had this game. I remember at some point in history, we actually called like Nintendo hint line thing. And from my recollection, I want to say that the prices on those lines, like that kind of service here, like was expected to be like the equivalent at the time of like $3 a minute or something like that. So $1.25 and then 75 cents, you know, it's sort of seems relatively humane. I don't know. could have been worse. Now it's obviously not very relevant for us 30 years later, but still kind of interesting to look at. All right, limited 90-day warranty. I don't think we need to really pay much attention to that. Copying prohibited. Okay, let's remember that. Personal backups are fine, but okay. And here we have the credits. But we're going to see all these credits in a pretty sick opening sequence as we start playing the game. Are we back? All right. Yep. Okay. That's really weird. Are we live? It's looking good now. Refresh. I mean, I guess if you can't see the stream, you can't hear me. We're back. Okay, good. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I guess I've had a similar thing not too long ago. It basically just looked like I was dropping frames, like on my end. Like I didn't actually, like the stream didn't stop. I just like, I don't know. It was real weird. We didn't get interrupted in anything important, I don't think, so that should be fine. It's just, I'm just annoyed because it's going to mean I'm going to have to stitch together VODs later on, but oh well. Yeah, I mean, you guys are gonna have to let me know if the stream cut off as I was in the middle of saying something, but I think I was probably just waffling around saying nothing of real importance. I think what I was trying to get to when I noticed that I was being interrupted by Twitch issues is that I think the game, by putting all this detail in the description of all these gadgets, which a lot of it anyway seems to be pretty relevant, like it's not all fluff, it's like the specifics of how these things work. The game itself is probably not going to give us any additional hints. You know, maybe I can examine a cigarette case and it'll maybe tell us that we have these different types of cigarettes. But there's going to be details on how they're used and how it works. Obviously, like the acid drop stuff, like that's so specific that I fully expect the game to like present us with something that we need to melt, and we can piece together what metal it's made of, and then we just have to make sure to use the exact correct amount of drops to do it. So I think we're kind of expected to study this manual and keep it on hand as reference for puzzle solving purposes, which makes me again very thankful to have read through this now. I'm not memorizing everything, of course, but whenever something comes up in the game, if it's familiar, we'll recognize it from the manual. We know to just check back in. All right. I think we are about as read up as we can be. But I think we will take a short break before we get going, because I think once we get going, we're not going to get a better opportunity. And I need to go stretch and go to the bathroom and stuff. So we'll take a short break. In just a few minutes, we will return, and we'll finally get to start playing James Bond: The Stealth Affair. See you guys in just a few minutes. All right, I'm returned. Now, let me just quickly set up the game. Let us bring up the timer so we can keep track of how long we get stuck. All right, let me just see. I suppose. We'll do that. See if I can. Oh, okay. Okay, there we go. And of course, it's the wrong type of capture. Okay. Give me a sec. There we go. Okay, it's working. Window. Yeah. So we just saw this text being written out very, very slowly, one letter at a time. That's what you missed while I was setting up the capture. Not too exciting. It takes like a minute to sit through the the screen being drawn out, so I don't think we have to wait for that. We'll just I mean, I don't have to reset it for you to see that. We can just pick up from here. Shabby Orange, welcome, welcome. Rarely ever see this game played. Good luck. Yeah, I think I'm gonna need it. I think I'm gonna need it. Yeah, the intro is cool for sure. Like the art is definitely. I mean, Delphine Software, I think for sure has a kind of mixed reputation when it comes to a lot of aspects of their games. But art is the one thing that I don't think anyone has ever had much negative to say about, and for good reason. They look pretty damn slick. Operation Stealth. The following information is classified, top secret. To gain access to this file, match the proper color codes from your color code card. Refer to your system documentation for the complete information on security procedures. Yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about it before, but like, I've not played any of these adventure games, but from everything I hear, they're full of like soft locks and kind of obscure. Like, they're really difficult in a like not necessarily super fun way. But I think that extends to not just these types of games, but it's the same thing with like, Shaq Fu or Flashback. Even I think Flashback is like probably their most like universally well liked game, but even that is like not without its issues for sure. Professor Katie, greetings. Yes, indeed. We've done a little bit of intro. We read through the manual. We've been going over some other games bond type stuff, but we are just about to embark on the beginning of the actual game. So, took me like 3 tries to click the OK button. So this picture right here is what Bad Weed was referring to as well. So the game ships like with a printed out picture, I guess, of this artwork where each little cell has like a different color, and we just have to like refer to that picture to see what colors is which. So I have a digital I was gonna say approximation. I would say it's a little bit better than that, but I have a picture of this thing, which I'm just gonna bring up on my end. And I think this is the one that's like really impossible to tell. No, that's this one. Okay, yeah. There's like light green, light and dark blue, etc. So some of them can be like, depending on how the picture is scanned, it can be like really hard to distinguish. Shiny foil covered thing, so you couldn't photocopy it. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Oh, that's right. Like in this version, yeah, because I have two different scans of it, and in one of them, the 2 greens are like nigh indistinguishable. In the other one, they're definitely a lot more different. But you're right, in the red and the pink are actually pretty much indistinguishable. So we just have to hope that we don't get, because you have to do 2 colors And if both of them, if you get both of them right, you get access to the game. But I guess if you get one of them wrong, we'll just see. We'll just see. We're getting the authentic experience here. Anyway, this one should be orange. That one is black. Okay. Oh, I got two easy ones. Let me know about the audio balance, by the way. That sounds great. Cinematique. Already like setting the tone pretty well here. Some of this art's a little goofy looking, but it's definitely high effort, and compared to Bond games up until this point for sure, this is extremely artistic and fancy. I feel like some of this looks better on the Amiga though. I feel like there's a lot of these, yeah. Raise your goatee paws in chat. Some of these like gradients, I don't know that they look quite natural. Like they seem like they're just kind of adding a little bit of texture detail that didn't necessarily need to be there. Oh yeah, the text cards, yeah, they shouldn't look like that. There should be like a proper logo. I think that's a ScummVM thing. Oh, James Bond, the stealth affair. Invisible for about half a second. Washington, D.C. Yeah, this art looks great. CIA headquarters. Yeah, I think like even with this MT32 emulation, I reckon the Amiga version still probably sounds better. Yeah, look at the speed.
Look, you!
ARG76, thanks for the follow. Hello, Mr. Bond. Hello, Mr. Director. How can I be of service? My government has asked Your Majesty's government for the cooperation of MI5. Your superiors have loaned you to us until we can clear this situation up. Oh, timer. There we go. If I can be direct, what is the situation? Well, Bond, have you heard of the stealth? All right, we got some French comedy. All right. Little, through the standard channels, it's an advanced aircraft capable of penetrating through any current technology electronic detection screen, invulnerable to radar, heavy firepower. Correct, Mr. Bond. However, the version you're talking about is now obsolete. Up until now, we had a far superior model of the stealth. Up until now? What happened? The stealth was being tested at NAS Miramar, home of the finest pilots in the world, when one of the pilots was killed and the plane stolen. Soviets? The Pentagon thinks so, but evidence has surfaced leading us to believe that they were not involved directly. Where should I start? Fortunately, we had a live sighting of the stealth. One of our agents in a small Latin American country called Santa Paragua has reported the stealth landing there. Santa Paragua, that's where I'll start. Our agent will contact you shortly after you arrive. I'll have transportation arrange everything. Oh, I almost forgot a couple of things. You'll not be able to carry a firearm into the country, but our agent will arrange to get you a replacement as soon as you contact him. Also, a gentleman named Q sent this package for you. Said you'll know what to do with it, and that you'd better not treat it like you usually do. Oh, there's our attaché case. I like that he's got a Mickey Mouse on his desk. Just maximum American. Yeah, exactly. KB, it's like because I'm not sure like in the original version that didn't have the Bond license. I'm assuming he's an American agent. So making the whole CIA thing make a little more sense. Here it's just like, well, we needed the best agent, so we just rented James Bond from the British government. Mr. Bond, you must recover the stealth. The fate of the free world may depend upon you. Good luck, Mr. Bond. Thank you, Mr. Director. Yeah, John Glames. Yeah, so it's interesting. Like, I haven't. Whoa. Oh, animation. Santa Paragua. It's pretty good. All right. We can click to direct Bond. I just love the sprite, his like bell-bottom pants, and it's like his fucking power stance. It's so good. All right, so right click to bring out the activation menu. Both mouse buttons to bring up the system menu. All right. So if I click save game, yeah, this brings up the ScumVM interface. We shouldn't have to worry about. Whatever, we'll save over this. Sure. Yeah. So what I wanted to say was I didn't really get around to doing too much research because like I was having enough trouble getting any version or the version I wanted to run. Like trying to pick between versions to play is irrelevant if I don't have the versions on hand to actually play them. I have a copy of the Amiga version, which I did get it running in WinU8E, but it was I had a little bit of trouble with it for some reason or another. And load times and everything seemed pretty rough, so I wasn't sure that's how I wanted to actually play the game. But the thing I'm curious about, like obviously this is the DOS version. It uses VGA graphics and 256 colors. The Amiga has a far more limited color palette, but in some examples that I was looking at, it didn't like some parts of it looked like potentially the Amiga version was kind of a color crushed version, but in other parts like the VGA version looked completely kind of redrawn and was all different. And it reminds me a bit of like the VGA version of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which, like, if you look at The Secret of Monkey Island, I think we played through the 16 color version when we played it last year, and I think that version is awesome. I think the 256 color version of Monkey Island is fine. It's inoffensive. It looks good. But I think the 16 color version is kind of cooler because it's more impressive what they did with the design and everything. It's really, really cool looking. But they still did a very good job repainting the graphics for VGA to make it look really good. But they did the same thing with Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which was also a 16 color game originally. But for that one, the 256 color version, I think, is like, it reminds me more of something like Super Mario All-Stars or something. Like, they didn't redesign the look of any of the assets. They just kind of added a little bit more color. They added like smoother gradients, and like as an example, the sprite of Indy in that game, in the original one, he's got like gray pants and the brown leather jacket just to kind of distinguish, I guess, like to not make it look like he's wearing overalls. They didn't want to use the same brown color for his pants. But if you wanted to actually recreate like Indy's outfit, he should have like sort of khaki pants, right? But in the VGA version of Last Crusade, they didn't actually change the color of his pants. They're still gray, which like looks a little strange. And for the most part, I think the VGA version of Last Crusade, it's like fine. Again, it's inoffensive. I don't think it looks ugly, but there's a lot of artistic intent and design behind the original EGA graphics that kind of get lost. And you add this kind of layer of gradients and stuff on top of it that doesn't. It ends up a little inconsistent, where the level of detail and fidelity and texture just isn't uniform across not just different screens, but like within each screen. And I had the feeling that this might be a little bit like that too. Yeah, the Amiga version of this is runnable in ScumVM, from my understanding, and that's how I wanted to play it. But I've not been able to get the data off of any of my Amiga disk images in a format that ScumVM can interpret. If someone would like to help me with that, I'd I'd welcome that. And that's the thing too. Like if we play this, regardless of how far we get into it, if I get the Amiga version up and running, or if we do something else, I'm sure it's going to be completely trivial to start over and get up to speed to where we were, because obviously most of the time spent is not going to be actually getting from point A to point B. It's going to be figuring out what you're supposed to do. But I mean, I don't mind playing this if we determine that we wanted to play the Amiga version instead, and we determine that it looks and sounds better or whatever. The fact that this is as different as it is, which I wasn't expecting, still means that this is an interesting game and version to look at in its own right. Yeah, so let me see if we can... I'm pressing the plus key a few times. Yeah, okay. Good. Actually make the game speed a lot more tolerable this way. That's nice. Yeah, I've never heard of a talkie version of this. Yeah, we got these pixel hunt things going on here. I'm not saying there isn't one. I guess like I said, I didn't do a tremendous amount of research. But there, like, surely there wouldn't have been one in 1990. Would have had to have been a later release. Well, I'd be really curious to learn more about that, but I never saw mention of that when I looked this game up. All right, let's just do because you don't get a like you don't get descriptions of objects when you're just in the neutral walking state. So let's just inspect what is there. Bay window, newspaper box, coin slot, door, plant, customs official, welcome hostess, counter, sieve. Is that what you call that? Actually, let's take a look at our inventory. Wait, what? Oh, okay. I only get a list. I can't like do anything. Right, I have to examine and then right click. Then I can examine something from my inventory. I see. Oh, there was a... Oh, I see. You could use the text to speech on Amy. Yeah, that does sound pretty horrible. There, I mean, it would be neat to just see that, I guess, but for sure, not something you would actually want to play. You read, Flight 312, first class, no smoking. Yeah, remember when you had to specify that on plane tickets? Oh, examine, that's right, briefcase. You take a good look at your trusty briefcase, model 51. I'm guessing we could possibly operate a briefcase, but we're probably not going to open it up and fuck around with it right now. We should probably get through customs first. Let's examine some stuff around here. It's a newspaper stand. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, this slot is meant for coins. All right, we got a a quippy narrator. All right, I see. What's this door? A door like any other. Okay. Sunny landscapes, tropical heat. Santa Paragua opens its arms to you. All right. Gateway you just arrived in. The custom official. Customs official doesn't look very happy. Nothing to speak of. The young woman doesn't pay any attention to you. Like the box was in a different color. Same orange color as when the CIA boss was talking to us. Maybe that was like kind of a dialogue box or something. Miyagi RO, greetings, welcome. Yes, we're playing at least 50 different James Bond games in chronological order, more or less. We made it through a couple of different PC games from the 80s. Oh, shit, it just opened, huh? And we've now made it to the Stealth Affair. So this game was originally not an actual James Bond game. But when it was released in North America, Interplay saw fit to actually license the property and rename the main character to James Bond. And that's why James Bond is running CIA's errands in this game, which is pretty funny. So I guess we can, is this like a bathroom or something? Oh yeah, actually, we didn't inspect the green plant. Ground is dry. This plant needs a good watering. Okay. Oh, it is a bathroom. Okay. So we probably need to, like, I vaguely recall you just like can't walk through here.
Stop, senor! Do not pass here. Your passport.
Just drawing the gun. All right. Okay. So we presumably need to make a fake passport. I mean, you would think that we had one when we got on our flight in America, but we'll see. Automatically opening and closing doors is pretty neat quality of life thing from a adventure game of this era. This moment, which game gets you the most? I think every game so far has been interesting in its own right. Honestly, I really enjoyed The Spy Who Loved Me. Yeah, you can see, by the way. We'll link that in chat. You got a spreadsheet right there with the list of games. You got links to videos of the games we previously played if you want to catch up. I think almost all of the computer games had like cool parts to them and some like pretty severe issues. A lot of them were like really cool, but some things made them absolutely impossible to play or finish. But I think License to Kill was actually really cool, and that was satisfying because I actually finished it legit. But The Spy Who Loved Me had like really, really cool pixel art and stuff too, and like cool variety with the gun shooting stages and stuff. Yeah, I mean, Shaken Not Stirred, yeah, with pause. That was, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think the only thing I can legitimately say was like just trash was the C64 View to a Kill, which is like legitimately unfinishable. It's like barely playable. But even then, it had the Sid Chip rendition of the View to a Kill theme song, which is fucking sick. And even the, like, conceptually, the different stages with the mechanics were, like, interesting, but the execution was awful because you can clearly tell it just didn't have the time and budget to actually finish it properly. But it's, like, still have, like, there's still cool ideas on display. But I would say, as far as my favorite, especially in terms of like what game I would actually like to boot up and actually play again, I would say probably License to Kill and The Spy Who Loved Me are kind of up there. But even then, like The Spy Who Loved Me, it's like a handful of tweaks away from being really, really good because it's like really cool, but it has like 6 stages or whatever, and they're all different, and all of them are cool. But 1 or 2 of them have like some incredibly severe balancing issues that make that level kind of impossible, which obviously renders the whole game sort of unfinishable in a sense. But if you can look past that kind of thing, you know, play with cheats and stuff to just get enjoyment out of it, it's a super cool game. Hey, Ann, what's up? Good morning. Happy Saturday. Ritsugen, we just started playing this one. So if you watched the previous stream, it was not this game. I don't know if I know Sonneville. Fractal Mind Mike told me something about Sonneville playing something that he might have like he would be a good person to ask for advice about something or other. So maybe he did play this recently. I'm not sure. Send me a Discord link for the Amiga. Oh, that's awesome. Why not? We'll keep playing this for now, but I'll grab those so we can. Because we were only like, I won't be able to stream for very long today, so we're kind of scratching the surface and checking things out. But that's awesome because I can take a look at that and set it up, and then maybe next time we'll start over with the Amiga version. And we can determine from there at least which version we're gonna play. And like I said, ideally, I would kind of want to take a proper look at both anyway. But that's excellent. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. All right, let's see what we have to examine here. Sign says, "Please leave the toilets in the same state as you found them." Think it lacks of class? Whatever the case, it's empty. All right, we got some quality non-native English here too. It seems. I mean, this is a French game, but you would expect an actual game published by a proper publisher in North America to have quality English translation, but maybe I'm expecting too much. Electric socket, AC/DC, 110 volts. Closed. All right. You admire your handsome profile in the mirror. Napkin for wiping your hands on. ... Okay, that's ominous. Nothing to say about it. Mike, greetings. Happy Saturday. Let's operate this toilet stall door. Wait, what? It's closed. Yeah, that's why I'm trying to operate it. Oh, operate. I can click James. The manual specified specifically that if I want to open a door, I'm going to choose the operate command and click door. Maybe they mean to say it's locked. Who knows? Anyway, it's empty. What? What? I tried to walk through it. Okay, whatever. I haven't noticed anything special. All right. Salmon flush. Nothing to say about it. About to get my beard trimmed and then getting a bird. Oh, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, I went to grocery shopping this morning, crawled out of bed to go get some breakfast and stuff. I got some pizza and some again. I got some like there was a bunch of like half off like short expiration date stuff. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. Like lazy Saturday hangover. Like I don't need to actually cook or do anything proper. I can just heat up some trash food. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, so Mike and Gody are two of my three teammates for World Tondos later, which we're competing in later this afternoon. In fact, let me shout out Sage again and go follow there because later tonight in 4 hours we are going to be competing against another team of 4 in various retro games that we have no idea what they are. It's going to be pretty sick. So make sure to tune in for that. That's part of why I'm only streaming like shorter today because I need some prep time for that. Macaw 45, the brand new skull emote. Or not emote, what do you call it? Subscriber badge? That feel when French adventure gaming? Yeah. Yes, very French gaming, for sure. Driving French Bond as Fika time? No way. No way. Bond, for all his world travels and experience in adventure, I don't think he's quite experienced or is in tune with the concept of Fika. I can't picture that. Yeah, this is pretty good. We're playing French developed American fake British Bond. Pretty good. So how do I like? Or maybe this one. I didn't try operating this one. No reason to do that. You might as well go. Okay, so I think he meant to say that these are locked. But this one is not locked. That's why I can just... I see. Okay, we're just learning the mechanics. Learning the mechanics. The MT32 sound effects are pretty good. Interesting. So many things wrong with a French-American bond. Yeah. Yeah, so to clarify, again, this game was originally developed and released as Operation Stealth, and it was kind of a Bond pastiche, like obviously heavily influenced and referencing kind of James Bond, but it was not actually James Bond. You're playing as an American agent called John Glames. But when they released the game in North America, they somehow got the license to actually make it an official Bond game. It's kind of weird because obviously the whole world, like the story in its broad strokes, like it's a very Bond thing, but it's got elements of weird humor and stuff like that that it's like completely doesn't fit the tone of James Bond at all. But that just only makes it more interesting, I think. Okay, so let's try to operate my briefcase. It's opening. Fucking sound effect. Medieval gates opening. Oh, look at this. Oh, I want to say you can like, can't you like move? Oh, maybe not. I vaguely recall you can like move things around, but maybe not. Examine clothes, American passport, magazine, calculator. Oh yeah, you don't want to remove this calculator because it's gonna blow up our case. Pen. Oh, that's the it doesn't look like a fountain pen, but I guess this is our secret acid metal melting pen.
Fuck you!
Cicada, thank you for the follow. Magazine. Is there like a secret compartment here that has... Yeah, I think it said like for the... to access like the fake passport making machine, you have to enter a secret code on the calculator to like access the secret compartment or something like that. It didn't actually tell me in the manual what that code was, but maybe we're going to learn it in the process of playing the game. Examine clothes. They're part of the camouflage. Good thing I won't have to wear them. Okay, this is, yeah, just weirdly French writing. One shirt, yeah, but yeah. Bond, did you know the manual? The manual specifically told us that Bond is not known for wearing disguises. So we're just gonna need our tuxedo for, you know, it's a multi-purpose tuxedo. It'll do just fine. Nothing terribly interesting. I've already read it on the plane. It's so, like, maybe I'm projecting because I know that this game was made by French developers, but I feel as if I can sort of sense weird, like, sort of affectations and like, linguistic tics that I recognize from, like, people I know who are French and the way they speak English. I don't know, like, again, I don't know if that's really real, but I feel like that's what's going on. Like, the use of English is definitely not quite natural. I mean, it's perfectly passable. It's fine. But there's, like, elements here and there that just feel delightfully French. Again, it just kind of gives it more flavor. I'm always a fan of certain types, anyway, of non-native English in games. Like, it just has a certain charm to it. It's pretty sick. You open the passport and you don't find anything else except what you already know. Okay. Is this money? Or is it just like loose pages in the passport? They they stick the photo to this page with thumbtacks? Or I guess these are maybe supposed to be stamps? I don't know. Oh yeah, oh, look at this. Currency. Lots of money. So I wonder if okay, I'm already examining it. Old brown. I mean, I guess, yeah, I don't have an 80s passport, so I guess maybe that's what they used to look like. Looks foreign and weird to me, but sure. I mean, I would expect passports to probably have changed a little bit in the way they look between the late 80s and now. So that makes sense. So I'm assuming we need to take items out of the briefcase to put them in our inventory. But I'm not sure if there's reasons to keep things in the briefcase. as opposed to like I'm thinking of the kind of Mac Venture games like Shadowgate and Deja Vu and stuff, when you have like bags of holding or whatever, where you have like multi-tiered inventory menus and like limited space. I'm not sure how that functions. Uh, okay, you take the money. Figured we should just like familiarize ourselves with the interface and the how to play the game. All right, so if I operate the passport, do I put it back? I do. Okay, see, we're learning. Passports haven't changed much unless you count how long it takes to get one. Yeah, even here, like I don't know. Whenever I hear about like Americans applying for passports, because like here, it's an extremely like you take it's weird for someone to not have a passport. Like the only reason someone would not have a passport here, I feel like is like it expired and I couldn't bother renewing it just yet because I'm not doing any travel or whatever. Um, but you get a passport, like you go to the police, you have some pictures taken, and normally you get it for in a matter of weeks, if that. Actually, I guess even that process is probably hasn't changed much now. But from what I've heard from people, is that like applying, like having, you have to like book a time slot, and apparently those are like booked up like months and months in advance now, which is really weird. Um, but yeah, whenever I hear about like Americans who, and when I say here, I live in Sweden, by the way, for those of you not familiar. I know we've got some new faces here today. But when I hear about like in America, I guess like it's so different. Um, where having a passport is like not at all a foregone conclusion. And I mean, in a way, it makes perfect sense. Like even setting aside the um how convoluted the process might be of getting one. If you live in a small European country, like you're probably statistically more likely to do international travel than if you live in America. Like you can certainly you can travel both further geographically and like culturally without leaving your country's borders if you live in the United States, and probably Canada too, right? Like it's a big country as well. Um, but even so, when I hear about like I feel like I hear about these things every now and then when it comes to like international fighting game events and stuff like that, because it's just something I happen to follow. Where it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go to this event or whatever, and it's like, oh nope, but I can't because I can't get a passport or whatever. Um, that's just a foreign concept to me. But yeah, I've heard that the like wait times to get one is like much longer now in the last year or two. At least my passport is valid through like August 25, I think. So I'm not I don't have to worry about it just yet. Taxi driver in the US asked you what a passport was. Like how do you even answer that question? Seems yeah, strange. 4 to 6 months wait typically. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of what I've been hearing now, that it's usually something like that. But it's also like it's not difficult or expensive either. Like I think I don't remember offhand, but I would say for sure it's definitely less than 100 euros. But I would say it's probably like 70 euros or something like that, maybe to get a passport. I forget because I have like an ID, like just an ID card. I don't have a driver's license, but I have like just identification that isn't a passport. So I would always like just renew them and get them done at the same time. So I forget exactly like how the costs whatever split up, but it's like not expensive. Yeah, you probably could Shabby Orange, as you said, like here as well. There's probably those kinds of um I think even like isn't that something you can usually do like at an airport? You can get like emergency passport kind of things, and that's usually a lot more expensive, yeah. Anyway, video games. Can I operate the magazine? No result. Okay. Salmon pen. Nothing to say about it. Okay. If I operate. Actually, before we potentially kill ourselves using Q's gadgets, let's save game again. Um, briefcase will do. Actually, can I take the shirt? Maybe there's something underneath it. I could if I wanted, but I don't. Very well. If I operate... Nope. Why don't you try it and we won't talk about it anymore? Like, the tone of the writing is so strange. It's so weird. All right, let's examine the calculator. It's the way of unlocking the secret compartment of my briefcase. Okay, so it actually does explain that. Interesting. But I'm assuming if I pick operate, it's gonna open up like a different interface. Nope. Okay, just that. The secret compartment opens. Okay, I was assuming that I would have to press some buttons manually, but that's okay. Oh, look at this. There's our fake passport maker. Yeah, passport falsifier. Unused passport. Yeah, so it's funny, like, some of the names of the items are completely, like, not the same as they were in the manual. I also like this, the false bottom is this, like, flimsy sheet. By nothing. Oh, these damned technical gadgets. This one is playing tricks on me.
Look, you!
Very French, yeah. Captain Conundrum. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for the follow. The sign says France. Oh, do I have, like... Yeah, up button. Note. Enter. Examine note. Reading the note. Choice of nationality. Press the up arrow or the down arrow. Validation. Press the button. Yeah, so we can pick French, German, or British passport, I think. The sign says England. The sign says Germany. So you should loop around, presumably. The sign says France. Yeah, so we can use our blank passport. When you look at the passport, you realize that there's nothing written as to your nationality. It's pretty funny, though. Surely the passport itself wouldn't look identical with just one line of text on one page being different. Like, the whole document, like the binding, everything would look different if it was from a different country, right? But maybe not in 1989. Who knows? Start of this game, such interesting pacing of puzzle for the first act. Yeah, we'll see. We haven't really, like... Well, technically, I guess we've come across a puzzle because the guard wouldn't let us through. But we have a passport. So we'll see. You know, I guess... maybe we give him our American passport and we get arrested and killed immediately, and we have to give him a, I don't know, more politically neutral passport. I guess we should take this so we can give it to him. But mostly we're just kind of fucking around in the, like, learning the interface and taking in the atmosphere. I wonder if, like, we're hiding ourselves in the bathroom here. For all the art and everything we can do here, like, I have to assume, close the briefcase, that this serves some kind of purpose. So there's probably more stuff we need to do. It's probably not as, you know, I was gonna say, it's probably not as straightforward as just giving him the passport and walking out the airport. Maybe it is. But if we do that, we miss some crucial puzzle element that's going to make us, you know, soft lock immediately. Wouldn't a passport be from the UK rather than England? Not if you're French, American, fake James Bond. Then it says England. All right, let's... So can we take this napkin? Is there, like... And what if you leave it for the other people? Like, writing is so weird. All right, actually, we should, you know, we've had a long flight. Let's operate the sink. Could you do it? Nothing happens. Okay. Actually, we should, full immersion. We should operate the toilet. You do it, nothing happens. Okay. Okay, okay. Nothing's happening. Is nothing working here? Is Bond just refusing to play along? Very carefully maneuver Bond here. I love the character, like, the proportions. Like, there's so much, well, character to them, right? Like, they comparing this to, like, any, like, Sierra adventure game sprites and everything. Like, everything looks so sort of stiff and by the numbers. Like, here, like, there's an expressiveness to it that I think is so cool. And honestly, fairly Oh, it's turning his head. Fairly unique for Delphine's style. I would think artistically the Lucas games look great and have more personality than Sierra for sure, but there's something particular about the kind of expressiveness of the almost caricature kind of feeling of the character designs and how they're posed and like the silhouettes that is I can't think of many other games like this that kind of has that, at least in this style or to this degree. Very cool. All right. So inventory, American passport, currency, airline ticket, briefcase. Speak to customs official. Hello, officer. The name's Bond. James Bond.
I don't care who you are. In this country, you're all outsiders.
Like just introducing yourself. All right. So wait, how do I do this? If I use right click to access the inventory, use American passport on customs official. Show your passport to the customs official.
Senor Bond, Americanos, I am happy to welcome you in our beautiful country. I just spoke with my buddy Pablo. He says that there are less and less Americanos who come here lately. And less Americanos means less hostages, right? Hostages! Si, senor. The government offers a bounty of 1,000 cruceros. My family and I thank you for the stroke of good luck.
Alas, you have just failed miserably before you have even begun. As the prison door slams shut behind you, probably for a very, very long time, you can't help but remember the ritual little phrase that was repeated each time you left on a new mission. In case of failure, our government will deny any knowledge of you. Alright, cool. I like the little animation. It's kind of a shame that it's on this black void of a background. Because Bond's sprite like completely blends in, but alright, there we go. So just restore game. So we kind of, reasonable enough. So I want to try something else. Yeah, I want to try exiting the bathroom if I can figure out how. If I try to use the gadget out in the open. Actually, maybe I should try giving him money and see if that helps. I mean, probably not. Although that might, actually, why don't we try this? Oh, okay, I'm asking for change. Oh, okay. Do you have any change by any chance?
No, senor. I don't have a single crucero on me.
I see. What if we try to wait, how do I examine briefcase? You take a good look at your trusty briefcase, model 51. Oh yeah, I have to operate it. If I'm like in plain sight of him, he's even looking at me. Is that going to cause problems? I feel like even if they're not unique or that interesting necessarily, I still want to find the different death scenarios. Oh yeah, try to find a more discreet place to open the secret compartment. Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, well, there we go. The pathfinding is a little dodgy, I have to say. Well, we basically figured this out, right? So do we have a good sense of what's a good nationality? I mean, I guess we can just I was gonna say we can just try them and see what works. But what if we have to imprint our one fake passport and we can get through this regardless of which one we choose, but we have to have picked a specific one later on? I feel like I'm just expecting that kind of bullshit from this game. But that's fine. Like I said, I think like replaying stuff when you know what to do is probably not that bad. So France. I feel like I'm just like by default I'm just thinking British, but because we're Bond. And also it's just set to French, so maybe like we're expected to change it to something um anything different. I don't know. Let's It's funny too, like I guess having an American passport makes more sense if your character is actually American. It's kind of funny that Bond will have to fake a British passport that has his real name on it. But that's how it works, I guess. Um Okay, so I guess we use wait, what? On passport falsifier, nothing's happening. Okay. There's like a slot here or something. Yeah, opening, I see. Find nothing. Okay. So this shows up if I want to use my inventory, even if I left click, but I just click outside and then I can use something from the scene here. Use unused passport on opening. Insert it into the slot. Oh. And this is nothing. Okay. Operate enter button. Push the button, and after a few seconds, the passport comes back out. Here's an English passport in good condition. Or, I mean, maybe the passport is rewritable. I guess I'm not sure. Take the new passport. Okay. So, just in case we get searched or something, maybe we should use our American passport on briefcase. That won't do anything. Okay. So I guess I can't put it back. If I can't put it back, then I guess it's probably fine. Unless we soft lock by putting it in our inventory and we can't put it back. But let's see if we can put it back here. No. Use American passport on briefcase. It's like you did nothing. Very well. Alright, let's see if... wait, which day? I even forget. English passport, okay. English passport in good condition. Gonna get worn out. Does it have limited uses? Yeah, I didn't do... I didn't not do anything, but it's as if I did nothing. Yep. French writing. Use English passport on customs official. Show your passport to the customs official.
Sir Bond, an Englishman. I am happy to welcome you to our beautiful country. I just spoke to my buddy Pablo. It seems there are less and less English who come here lately. And less English means less hostages, right? Hostages? Si, senor. The government offers a bounty of 1,000 cruceros. My family and I thank you for this stroke of good luck.
Okay, not too different. The sprites of the buff commando dudes, so good. Alright, restore game. Can I? Yeah, I guess I probably have to go inside the bathroom, but let's try and see if I can... do this here. Yeah. Nope. Ugh, the interface is a little bit clunky, I have to say. Not unbearably so, but not exactly best in class. So I guess we'll try. I mean, for all we know, none of these, like, there might be something more to this puzzle. Wait. The fact that you have to, like, pick the verb and then pick the verb differently to access your inventory as opposed to your, like, the items in the scene feels very backwards compared to most games like this that I'm used to. All right, so use unused passport on opening. Write down button. Germany. No. Oh, so it was set to France. Okay. French passport in good shape. All right. Wait, I took it, right? Yeah. Slamming the door in his own face, trying to walk out of the bathroom. Let's see if this works. Use French passport on. Customs official. Show your passport.
Everything's okay, senor. Have a good stay.
Little wave. All right. Okay, cool. We made it. All right, let's lay on the charm real thick. Speak to welcome hostess.
Hello, senorita. My name's Bond, James Bond.
Bond, wait a second. I think I have a message for you. Here it is. It's a telegram that just arrived.
Thanks, senorita.
Examine telegram. Telegram reads, Flight 714, Mr. Martinez, stop. Okay, Flight 714. Look here. Okay, yeah. Brute force the puzzle. Was I supposed to? Well, I mean, we didn't try the German. Who knows how that would have worked? I mean, technically, it's a bit of a brute force, but was I supposed, like, this is naturally how I would have done it, because it's anything that we could have done. I feel like it would have been more work than just doing it this way. I feel like I examined everything. There's something in the manual? Trying to recall. But yeah, like getting it through, like I wouldn't have second guessed this. Like, you know, I wouldn't have thought that I did this in a weird way. Like, nah, whatever. I mean, it's like, all right, they hate Americans, they hate British. It's like, yeah, that checks out. That's fine. Like, that doesn't seem like some weird puzzle thing that I'm supposed to figure out a solution to. It just seems like, yep, that makes sense to me. All right, so am I supposed to... Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, I love that kind of detail. She's like leans forward when I get close. Like, that's so sick. I guess I just walk off screen. So am I supposed to get on... I guess I should... Someone should have been arriving with flight 714. Is that what that's... Like, is that what I'm supposed to take from that? Okay, can I... I guess the left is an exit, maybe? Okay.
Your airline ticket, please.
I can walk through here, okay. Actually, let me look. Oh, you haven't noticed... Oh, stop! Haven't signed. Nothing interesting. Well, he could have told me what it says. I guess it says Salida, which I don't know what it means. It says you haven't noticed anything special. So I guess I should find out... No, so you can't get through here. First, give your airline ticket to the guard. Okay, I see. No, I'm not trying to. Oh, so cool, the music. We have a ticket, but I would assume that that's the ticket I used to fly here. Showing that would probably not... Or is that for, like, is that for luggage? Whatever. Graphics are pretty sick. Can I go through here? No, okay. Music fading out. Pretty good, pretty good. Well, if it would actually fade out. Alright, okay. Try to leave the screen and see if... Okay, let's try transitioning... Again? Okay, good. That worked a little better. IRL, I'll be dead twice, though, which is bad for James and Stealth Bomber. Need to add many more nationalities to make brute forcing the lesser option. Unless, yeah, so, like, unless this is something... Unless it would spoil something that would come later or whatever... Since we already passed it, I'm perfectly fine for you to explain what I missed that would have given me the hint for what I was supposed to, like, use as a hint. Because, again, like, in my mind, I didn't even feel like I was brute forcing it. Don't remember if it spoils. Yeah, okay, we'll leave it be then. Then, that's fine. Don't bother. Like, that's the thing. If you hadn't mentioned it, I would never... It wouldn't have crossed my mind that I did something like that I failed to figure out what I was supposed to do by brute forcing it. So it's just kind of funny. But yeah, for sure. Like if something just has 2 or 3 options and one of them works, um, I feel like naturally most people are gonna try it. But I don't know. Wait, you examine the coin slot, take. But I did examine the. Okay. Nothing seemed to indicate that I could take a coin. How would would I operate the coin slot to take a coin from, or I guess maybe there's a coin return in a different slot that I didn't look at. That's actually good. That's kind of why I wanted to ask about it, because in fact, let me see if we can just do it. Yeah, there probably is a return slot, right? Yeah. I guess I did for some reason I didn't think to. Yep.
Stop, senor. You don't get out of our country so easily.
All right, let's load. Yeah, because. So again, the reason I asked wasn't necessarily because I thought I missed some exciting puzzle gameplay, but it's more about like if I miss doing something now, getting a better sense of what it was I'm missing in terms of like how I approach puzzle solving or what kind of detail I should be on the lookout for, I feel like is helpful to learn how to get on the game's wavelength as far as like puzzle design goes. So let's just try to do that and see. Yeah, because, okay, I didn't actually. I mean, you can clearly see that there's 2 slots. I, for some reason, didn't think to look at the return slot. Oh, look at this. Finally, a coin. When you pick up the coin, you get the strange feeling you've done this sometime before. Okay. Use coin on coin slot. Stick the coin in the box. A newspaper! Look at these fucking French cartoon fingers. Chubo looking hand over here. It's pretty good. Seems entirely incongruous with James Bond and the atmosphere, but it's pretty cool. But it worked the first time. Do you think they repaired it since the last time? Like, is this playing on some sort of weird stereotype that newspaper vending machines are always broken? Or, I don't know. It certainly doesn't seem to refer to something that actually happened in the game. Anyway. Examine the newspaper. One of the articles attracts your attention. The diplomatic relations will be reopened between Santa Paragua and France. Alfonso Merguez, a government spokesman, announced that a reception will be held, etc., etc., etc. Okay, there we go. So we got our France hint. So we got a cool little coin art and some good sound effects, so that was worth redoing. Nope. In future, oh, okay, so it's like a Future Wars reference. I see. Okay, that's pretty cute, but like it's gonna be lost on a lot of the audience. I mean, that would make sense. I think that's like the exact kind of humor I would expect from this, so I think that makes sense. France. Take the new passport. Can I close this right away? Yeah. All right, pretty good. Yeah, that seems like kind of a thing I'm noticing too, that like it doesn't seem like a lot of meaningless interactions are possible. Like for good or for bad, in a way, I can see that the game is like trying to restrict literally useless actions by like not letting you flush the toilet or wash your hands or something. But it makes for a little bit of a dry experience where anytime you try to do something, the game like just pithily makes some weird comment that like you're stupid for trying it, or it's not important, or no, of course it doesn't work, or it's as if nothing happens, or like weird comments like that. So it's like in some ways it's a streamlining kind of thing that hypothetically could reduce like the amount of red herrings, But at the same time, I think it makes the experience feel a little um, sparse in a way, where like things where you like when you think of something you can do that would make logical sense, whether or not it's like a genius move to solve a puzzle or just like washing your hands. It's a little bit of a strange thing to like try to do something and the game just not acknowledging it. It's not a great feeling, I think. But we'll see. All right. Use French passport. Yep, everything okay. Have a good stay. Speak to the hostess. Bond, James Bond. Telegrams just arrived. Thank you. Nope. If you misclick, like you can't click and drag off of it to something else. Nope. Hammond. Flight 714, Mr. Martinez, stop. Hopefully we're done here so far. Let's save again here. We can write over this one. We can try, like, I don't know that it makes any sense that I'm giving my ticket that I came here with to this guy to get inside, but let's try it. Totally agree. It's if the game is being smug and obtuse, punishing you for wanting to engage with it. Yeah, that's a good way of phrasing it. Like, it's definitely got a smug tone. And yeah, it's weird that the game is like kind of admonishing me for, as you say, just engaging with the game world, like wanting to interact with things, like me giving the game the benefit of the doubt in assuming that I can interact with a thing, and the game just makes a weird like again, I think the language thing like even adds a layer to that where it's like the game is trying to be a little bit smug and flippant, but because of the like slightly strange use of English, it comes across as like even more um not more insulting necessarily, but like there's a disconnect between the game's attitude and kind of humor and my experience. Like it feels like, you know, you're trying to make a joke to someone, but like there's a little bit of a language barrier or something, so it doesn't quite land. Like you get that kind of element to it as well. Like if you're being, you know, it's like if you're talking shit with your friends and you're like gently ribbing each other or whatever, that can be one of those things, right? Where like if you're in on it, like it's not necessarily offensive, but to anyone outside of that group, it's gonna sound weird and seem strange that you're having this kind of antagonistic, joking tone with each other or whatever it is. So as long as everyone is in on it, everyone is like familiar with the tone of the conversation, it's usually fine. But if either someone who isn't kind of in that group takes part in it, or if the way you express something is just like slightly off, like it can land very, very wrong. And I think that's it's like a slightly similar thing here where the game's flippant, sarcastic tone like doesn't come across quite as I don't know, jovial as it wants to because of the language being a little bit off. Anyway, let's try to use our airline ticket on guard. Show your ticket to the guard.
Good, you can pass.
Okay. That's supposed to be Connery era. Well, this game was not originally a James Bond game. So none of the details of the plot or characters or anything are going to be that specific to anything James Bond. It was originally a James Bond pastiche or like almost parody, you could say. Um, but when they released the game, it's a French-made game, so it was first released in Europe. But when it was released in America, they Interplay, the American publisher, got the James Bond license. So in the original game, you're playing as John Glames, who is an agent for the CIA. So in the Bond version, the intro kind of clumsily explains that the British government has just lent James Bond to the CIA because he's just the best, and they need the best for this top mission or whatever. Um, so he's not clearly not supposed to be any particular incarnation of Bond. But I also guess it's like set in a contemporary setting. The game originally came out in 1989. So we're in this like fictional South or like Latin American country, and there's like tensions with the Soviets and whatever. Do you think that the Glames character is based on Connery? I mean, I think if you're going for this, like, it makes sense. Although I'm sure you could argue that there's a bit of Roger Moore in him as well. But um, the tone of everything is like slightly exaggerated and comedic and sort of comic booky, cartoony. I mean, you can see the art style, and I think the that sort of comic-y, exaggerated tone is not just in the visuals. So you have this sort of broad parody of secret agent, spy, James Bond stuff, which I suppose naturally means it's going to kind of lean more towards Connery than anyone else, but it's not like literally supposed to be specifically James Connery, Sean Connery's Bond. Nothing interesting. Everything is nothing interesting. You find nothing. Hunting. Nothing to say about it. Yeah, okay, so these are baggage carousels. Oh, I wonder. Oh, maybe I should. Maybe I'm looking for a like luggage from flight 714 with his name on it. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. See. More bathrooms. Please leave the toilets in the same state as you found them. All right. Anything here? There isn't anything in the garbage. Can't even interact with these doors. That's kind of peculiar. Find nothing. No result. Very like clinical. Like, and it's no result. I operated on the napkin, but there was no result. Okay, so the tap I noticed is actually an item here. It wasn't in the other bathroom. You do it, nothing happens. So does that mean that it's broken, or it just like nothing important to the gameplay happened? So the game just says nothing happens. It's a little bit strange for sure. So we can't even acknowledge that any of these are locked. But we can go inside here. Okay. So if we need to change our passport, actually, I don't even know if we can change our passport, but get inside here, Alpha. Get inside here. In case we need to do clandestine agent shit. Examine game, nothing happens. Yeah, okay. So examine baggage carousel. Nothing interesting. Okay. But can I go through here, though? Okay. 312. Young man. Paris. Okay. So I'm assuming young man seems to be waiting for something. Okay. Let's examine the telegram again. What does it say? 714, Mr. Martinez. Okay. I guess we go into the right lane here to find. Nope. Okay. Nothing there. We're not supposed to squeeze in between. Oh, wait. No. Okay. Let's examine some baggages here. Sticker on the baggage reads Philippe Chastel. So these are probably like developers or something. Yeah. Property of Imagex. Yeah. Sticker on the Paul baggage reads Paul Cuisset. Yeah. Let's get some Pauls in chat. There we go. Sticker on the baggage reads Mr. Martinez. Yeah. So everyone, the entire Delphine software development team was on this flight, I guess. So take that, I guess. Okay, you take it. I wonder if we like put it back or something. Well, let's examine baggage. Okay, that's it. Well, I wonder if I glass. Okay, maybe I should go into the bathroom when I open this in case it's got some secret spy shit in it. And hope we don't get shot because we took someone's luggage. Playing safe. Oh, I forgot. I wanted to remove the calculator from the briefcase to see if it exploded. Operate baggage. Okay, it opens automatically. You find an electric razor and a watch. You put the watch on your wrist and slip the razor into your pocket. Then you close the suitcase. Okay, so we got some Q gadgets. We're supposed to like meet with an agent, right? We can try talking to the young man at the other conveyor belt. Maybe he's our contact. But at least we got our Q gadgets, so that's good. That seems like an important thing that you don't want to miss. A high-class watch containing many treasures. Okay. Also, if we had not read the manual, we would have no idea that these are like important, lethal super gadgets. The plain old electric razor. You see that there's a battery compartment on the back. Yeah, so the razor is our secret stealth microphone, and the watch contains a, was it 30-meter wire or something that we can use in rooftop chases to escape or something like that. You know, as an example. We can probably use it as some like a zip line or something or other. How do they fit so many treasures in one tiny place? Yeah, I mean, that's a quality watchmaker for you. But I guess I shouldn't attempt to like operate or fuck around with those gadgets because who knows if it's gonna, you know, expend limited uses or anything like that. I want to save very frequently just in case. Few gadgets. Or forget, why don't we try, nope, operate briefcase. Take calculator. He might just prevent us, but let's try it. Ah, yeah, okay. I can't take the calculator. The whole plot will blow up. Okay, thank you for putting that on screen. If I is it like screen? If I click all the way to the left here? No, okay, it doesn't affect. Anyway, yeah. There's an infrared beam connecting the calculator to the briefcase, and if the beam is broken, which again seems incredibly risky given how infrared beams work, a big ass explosion that's going to destroy everything within 10 meters will be triggered. So that's probably going to come into play at some point. All right. Let's see if we can navigate our way out of here. So we still like took someone's baggage. I feel like, let's see if we can, like these trigger happy customs agents, I wouldn't trust them to not want to kill us over that. So yeah, the briefcase is mine. That's, I just had it. It's my carry-on luggage, I guess. See if belt back, yeah. There might be like we might have checked in luggage as well, right? Who knows? I think I've looked at all of them now, though. That Paul's. Nope, that was that. Okay. I think these are all just cycling. So let me see if I can. Oh, that's right. There's no clickable thing here to like put it back on the conveyor belt. It's like you did nothing. Yeah. Okay. So we should be fine. So does this go through to a different screen? No, it doesn't. Okay. Well, let's go find that upstanding young man hanging out inconspicuously. Whoops, I clicked outside the window. There we go. Examine young man. Young man seems to be waiting for something. They have like golf clubs. All right. I guess it would make sense. Like the other conveyor belt was from a different flight, so if we had luggage, it wouldn't have been there anyway. Well, we should try to speak with everyone, right? That's what the manual said anyway. No comprendo, señor. No comprendo. Okay, well. Do I have anything in my inventory that I would want to... Like, just in case he is someone we need to contact? Guess not. Do we want to give him cash? Or is this just like literally a pointless screen? Use currency on young man. Nothing's happening. Okay, no effect. Find nothing. So am I free to just walk around here then is the... Hopefully, right? I wasn't able to go back to the gate, right? But here... Well, I guess I saved in the bathroom, right? So we should be fine.
You do not pass.
Okay, pass. Okay. It's like, I don't know. The layout of this airport seems confusing to me. Anyway, let's use our French passport. Show your passport to the customs official.
Gracias, senor. Can I see your suitcases?
You hand him the bags, he opens them, looks carefully in them, and gives them back to you.
By the way, senor, could I see your passport again? Senor Bond, is that right? Yes, the name's Bond. James Bond. Yeah. Well, Senor Bond, could you explain why you're carrying Mr. Martinez's bag? Well, you see, it's a big mistake. Well, give it to me. I'll give it to its owner. But don't let me catch you again, guy. Go on.
Got lucky. Better not hang around. See, I was trying to dump... Oh, I should probably just throw it in the trash. I got lucky, but... Let's see if we could have done that. Because it seems like we should have just... We emptied it of its contents, right? I'm just curious to see if that's like something we could have done. So we've got the stuff. Baggage. Let's see if we can... Like, I had the thought to get rid of it, right? Because there's no... As far as I can tell, there's no use for keeping the bag itself. Walk in a circle, get those two to take your ticket and passport endlessly. Yeah, it seems a little weird. That's kind of like the weird, like, multi-branching paths of an airport. Granted, airports were probably pretty different back then. Like, security and everything. But even so... my experience with airports is generally, like, everything is very streamlined. You get very railroaded to where you're supposed to be. There's not a lot of room to, like, kind of not wander off to where you're not meant to be. But here, it's a little open-ended. Have I robbed Senor Martinez? No, what happened was, we got a telegram with this information. Mr. Martinez, from this flight. So we found Mr. Martinez's baggage, and in the baggage... we received some gadgets from Q. Yeah, Mr. Martinez's luggage has been on loan from the British government. That's why we have luggage that isn't ours. So let's see if we can use baggage on bin. Okay, you get rid of it. There we go. See, I usually don't care about, like, points in adventure games, like in the Sierra games, because it's, like, kind of silly, but I do kind of, I don't know. It's not something I ever think of in like, LucasArts games, but in something like this, I don't know. Because I'm so fearful of getting stuck and everything being confusing, and the fact that the game so rarely lets you actually interact with stuff, I feel like when you do something that actually works, I want to be rewarded with a number going up and a little jingle. So I can kind of miss that a little bit. Anyway... The fact, I guess getting a successful interaction is its own reward. Okay, let's try this again. Use French passport on customs official. Show the passport. Gracias. See your suitcases. You hand him the bag. He opens it, looks carefully in it, gives it back to you. Then everything's okay, senor. Have a good stay. Aha! Got him. So we're supposed to have... There's supposed to be an agent meeting us, right? Is that the agent? Yeah, because I couldn't. Travel agency? Okay, there's. Women, children. Sign. This foreground graphics has. Music's pretty good, for sure. Find nothing. Alright, speak. Travel agency. A wall of silence. Alright, okay. I was just about to say, oh, the music like ended, but no. Animation, like even the fact that you can see the dim, like it's so like artistically clever and neat. Like it is definitely a looker of a game for sure. Noticed anything special? Examine women, children. Nothing interesting. Cutter? Nothing interesting. Oh, that's pretty cool. Taxi just rolls up. Let's speak to women, children. A wall of silence. Oh, nothing. Oh, there's probably going to be more taxis. So just nothing to say about it. Bar noises. The audio is pretty good. It's a little bit of cacophonous, but he's just continuing. So is walking into the street gonna kill us? Is it that kind of game? Oh, I'm impressed. Operate gutter, no result. So I feel like we've missed something, because even if I get into a cab, like where do I even go? Do we operate the taxi sign to call for a taxi? Well, I do it, but nothing happens. Operate the taxi? No, well, okay. Can I give money to him? Is that... If you have anything else like this, go ahead and finish it. It's like you did nothing. What? Can anyone interpret these sentences for me? Like, well, I mean, I suppose the meaning is nothing happens, but it's not really makes sense. Can I just walk into the cab? I walk into the cab. All right. Buenos dias, senor. Where are we going? Downtown, please. Okay, boss, let's go. Will I let you up here, senor? Yes, this is fine. Thank you. Unicycle? Just, well, I guess it could be a bike. Looks like a unicycle, though. Could that be our, Like, was I supposed to meet up with someone at the airport? Or just, like, in the town? I don't know. Well, we made it this far. I could have missed something important, but, let's keep going for a bit. I'm gonna need to wrap things up soon-ish. Not immediately, but in the next half hour or so, probably. So let's see if we can at least get our bearings. Like, I wasn't expecting to get super far into this today anyway, so it's more about just familiarizing ourselves with the game. So if I missed something important, like, it's not that big of a deal. Let's examine. Actually, one thing that's kind of cool too with this, I suppose it's not super unique. This shade is weird. Okay, that's good. I do like the fact that there's no visual interface kind of clogging up space. So we do get this like nice full screen of artwork. Kind of cool. Can I operate this weird shutter? I can't do anything. It's locked down and very rusty. Okay. Climb it? I don't know. Alright, it's a bicycle. This bicycle could be useful. If I was on holiday, get back to work. Alright, game. Chill out. There's a door over here. Tulips, nothing interesting. Daisy, you haven't noticed anything special. Even that sentence, you haven't noticed. Like, I guess it's just the use of the past tense or whatever. Say. That sounds French to me. Like, it says you haven't noticed anything. It doesn't say you don't notice. It doesn't say you didn't notice. You can't notice anything. Just, like, specifically that says you haven't noticed anything. Sounds like a French-ism. Red carnations, nothing to say about it. Examine the forest. Walk all the way over there. Oh, did we crash again? I'm not getting no indication on my end. What the hell? Are we back? That's super fucking weird. I didn't even see any, like, drop frame, nothing. Fucking Twitch, man. I don't know if I need to connect to a different server. I mean, I'm not going to bother changing anything now, but that's the second time today that's happened. And I'm not getting any kind of... The first time I noticed, I saw the little green square in OBS that tells me about the bitrate, like, went red. My bitrate, like, dropped to 0. I didn't even see it now. It's possible that it happened, but before I could see anything, I just saw the chat reacting. It might have already recovered, so maybe that's why I didn't see it. But, yeah, that's weird. Not much I can do about it, I don't think. But if we're back, we're back. You know what? My new PC has been assembled. We just discovered, like, I think I needed to do, like, a firmware upgrade on the, or BIOS update or something on the motherboard. So there's, like, one little bit of tinkering we need to do before I can, like, install Windows and everything. So, presumably at some point in the coming week, I'll be getting my new PC. And I just have to figure out, like, a good time to set it up here and, like, replace my current PC and everything. Like, it's going to be a little bit tricky with, there's software and stuff I need to install, of course, with OBS for streaming and everything else. But once I do, I'm going to have a new PC, which I'm so looking forward to it. And I'm going to have more new storage and everything. I think, because I haven't really felt able to, or really like having the need necessarily. But once I have the new PC, I think I'm going to start making it a habit to always do a local recording of my streams. So I can upload that for shit like this. Because it's such a hassle if you get a disconnection or some kind of issue midstream. I don't want to split VODs up into multiple videos. Like, if it's from one stream, I would like to have it all together, but then you need to kind of manually stitch it together. But if I do a local recording, I wouldn't have to do that. And technically speaking, I could probably record locally at higher quality too. Yeah, due to storage space as well as, like, CPU limitations, it's not something I really have wanted to do. But with the new PC and endless possibilities, I'm going to at least give it a shot and try to do that and see if it makes my life easier. Hope your Concoin contribution didn't cost that. No, Dark Rift, I wouldn't think so. I appreciate it anyway. Well, we're live now, so like, let's make the most of it. All right, there's a door here, barely visible. Can I walk through it? This door is completely useless, but our artist found it really neat to do, so here it is. Thank you, game. That's very charming. Is there anything up here? No. Yeah, the thing is too, like, for local recordings, honestly, I wouldn't necessarily feel the need to keep them around indefinitely, but uploading a local recording to YouTube is probably no slower than exporting highlights from Twitch. Although, technically, maybe I'd want to cut them down or something. I don't know. I think probably when I have my new PC, I'll probably start streaming in 1080 as well. I've been streaming in 720, 60 for years. Because it was a good... I mean, I rarely play games that are at a higher stream resolution anyway. But it's also a good compromise between, like, quality and bitrate, and, like, especially when you don't have, when you're not partnered, like I'm not. I'm an affiliate, right? So you don't necessarily get the resampling, whatever you call it, quality options on my stream. So some people might get sort of gate-kept by the stream being at a too high a bitrate or too high a quality. But I think what would be considered, like, the average quality that people can deal with has probably increased in the, like, I don't know, 8 years since I kind of set those settings up. But right now, like, my stream layout, everything is sort of designed for 1080, but I stream in 720. So I could do local recordings at 1080 and stream in 720 and upload the 1080 quality recordings. But I guess I'll probably stream in 1080. But there's going to be, for sure, like, you know, we're playing games sometimes with a lot of flashing or noisy patterns and stuff that, like, destroy the bitrate, you know? Like, you get a lot of compression artifacts. I would assume that you'd be using a different kind of compression for local recordings that would probably keep those kind of, like, you'd probably not get those kinds of artifacts as much. Yeah, KB, exactly. Like, that's how it works from a technical standpoint, right? But just because that is technically the case, I don't necessarily know, like, from a practical standpoint, how much of an issue that is. It's hard to say, right? You only get the data for anyone, like, I mean, I've had, it has happened, people coming into my chat room saying, like, oh man, I can't watch because it's, like, too high quality or whatever, you know, they don't have the option. And someone commenting on it in chat once obviously doesn't mean that it happened once. If I went to watch a stream and it like, I couldn't get it to work, I probably wouldn't say anything in chat. I'd probably just leave. So I don't know, but it's hard, I think, to collect data to sort of figure out how widespread of an issue that would be. But I don't know. We'll figure it out, I guess. I need to get the PC first. I think basically just edge cases. That's right. That's what I would expect. And I mean, at the very least, I would have to imagine that it's less of an issue today than it would have been 5 years ago. Just like with what I would expect from, like, average connection quality, service quality, whatever, right? Can we leave this screen? I walk over here. Aha, I see. Okay, so we're not necessarily, like, limited to trying to figure out what to do there on this screen. We could, I guess, buy a flower, but are we just gonna buy random flowers? I don't know. It's a bigger issue on mobile. Yeah. Yeah, it could also be like, with mobile, I feel like stream layouts and stuff like that is, like, a bigger problem. Because most people's stream layouts aren't optimized for mobile. I mean, just in terms of design, like the size of fonts and stuff. Like, I try to not put stuff that's too tiny, text that, like, at the very least, I imagine that the text in my layout should be viewable at 720 because that's what I stream at. And I can, like, basically, the preview window that I have is, I think, I don't know, roughly equivalent of that resolution, and it looks fine to me. But I don't know. There's like a lot of things that you can try to take into account when optimizing the viewing experience. But at the same time, like, people are going to watch in different. Like, if you try to optimize specifically for mobile, if someone is watching it on their 60-inch TV, like, maybe that's weird. But I imagine. I mean, I guess I don't know. It's not something I've looked into, but I would expect that most people are watching on PC, like on desktop. So it makes sense to me to sort of, like, optimize for that experience. Italian word in Mexico, French game, British character, Swedish streaming. Well, he's he's French American British. Also, we're not in Mexican. We're in Santa Paragua. Is that what it's called? It's a fake country, but about as Mexican as this Bond is American, French, British. Truly international, yeah. But that's the Bond experience, right? Examine garden. Beautiful garden on the other side of this wall. Doesn't this mean bank? Yeah, I think so. From here, it looks like an entrance. Like, all these, like, pithy comments, like, they're starting to annoy me a little bit, I think. This fellow is just living the dream of all the Delphine team. Sleeping, sleeping, sleeping. Weird comment, but alright, I get it. They're overworked. Looks like a nice phone booth, but it's out of order. Oh, well, who would you call anyways? Looking at the screen. All right. Or at the camera, I guess. Okay, can we go back here? Explore the area a little bit. Oh. Flowers, bench, palm leaves. Haven't noticed anything special. Nothing to say about it, of course. Yeah, no 8-foot dachshunds. Forbidden to poodles is what it says. Okay, okay, sure. Little bird noises. That's so good. Oh, shit. Okay. Wow, there's like a lot of screens we can explore now all of a sudden. Soldier. Okay, that's like literally the only thing. The soldier doesn't look happy. In fact, he looks downright mean. I just kind of want to get a sense of what the screens are here that we can... It's all jungle over here. I have many more important things to do in town. Do I, though? Wait, is this booth, like, transparent? What's going on here? Looks like we're seeing the edge of the pillar through a little gap between the frame and the roof. It's a little strange. Are those bullet holes? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I wanted to see if I could inspect them, but no luck. Can we oh, okay. Can we operate this bench? Cannot. Maybe we can pick flowers, but we're probably gonna get arrested or shot. I'm assuming we can go here. Ooh, hotel. Go to the beach. All these animated flags. You find nothing. Nothing interesting. Can I... Oh, there we go. Lemon Beach. Nothing to say about it. Nope. Okay. Can we go this way? Alright, no, that's it, I guess. I'm surprised at how many screens there are, and I still don't know... Oh, dude, the composition here is so good. I mean, it's a little in the way, but it's really cool to have this, like, depth. Again, this kind of more artistic framing of stuff is definitely something I noticed very heavily playing when we played the original Monkey Island last year. Obviously, it's a game I've played a million times, but it's the first time in a very, very long time that I played the original 16-color version. And even though the screen layouts and the compositions are all like the same between the 16 and 256 color versions, playing the original 16-color version like makes it easier in a way to sort of contextualize it sort of chronologically with the Sierra games of the same time frame. I think the Sierra games, like the late EGA Sierra games, are easily the best looking of those games. I never liked the look of the VGA Sierra adventures, but like Police Quest 2, which is like not that impressive all compared to some of the others, but Space Quest 3 and what's it called? Conquest of Camelot and what is it called? The Colonel's Bequest. Like those games look incredible to me compared to definitely the Sierra stuff that came before, but even the stuff that came after as well. But comparing those games, like the late 80s Sierra stuff to Monkey Island, like I think Monkey Island still really stands out. I mean, as had Loom in a way, like with these really inventive and creative layouts of the rooms. Like very rarely are things just placed on this like very flat plane at like direct angles and everything. Things are often just like there's a sense of cinematography to the framing of the locations to make them look interesting. Like here we have this like very head-on angle, but you know, you get this sense of depth and perspective with the statue in the foreground. And I'm trying to leave here. There we go. So I wouldn't say that this game is like doing that amazing a job of it. Again, like these things are pretty straight on. You know, in an area like this that's a bit more open and you need to have a clear sense of how these screens connect. Like, yeah, there can be an argument for the benefit of having things a little more kind of angular and straight. But when you see touches like that, even this little railing here, like it's a cool touch that I think a lot of adventure games in this time frame like didn't necessarily do. Like I think of all the cool artistic touches in this game, of which there are plenty, I wouldn't really say that the framing of each room is like very high on that list. But every now and then there's a few touches like that that I think is really cool. Like the doors, the airport doors, when you see the Bond through the glass, stuff like that I think is really cool. But again, that doesn't necessarily have too much to do with the like camera angle per se, but it's a cool touch. Like they didn't need to put the camera kind of on the outside of that screen. So it's, I guess it ties in a little bit. Came around in the Quest for Glory VGA remake. Yeah, that's an interesting example in my case, because that's the only one of those where I played the VGA version before I played the original. Technically, I would play the Mac version, actually, of Quest for Glory. That was my introduction to that series. So for me, like, that's just so much more familiar to me than the original EGA version. But even then, like, comparing, like, Space Quest 1 or Police Quest 1, the VGA remakes, or even, like, Leisure Suit Larry, like, those... I don't like either of those styles all that much. Like, the original EGA Sierra games, they're not very pretty. They kind of have their charm, but I'm not that attached to them aesthetically. That, like, later, I forget which one is which, like AGI or SCI, but the latter one, like, looks awesome. But even, like, not just talking about remakes, you know, Police Quest 3 or Quest for Glory 3, I guess, was the first one that had those graphics. Space Quest 4, etc., etc. Like, they just have this, like, very smeary, blurry, painted style, and, like, there's a lot of frames of animation, but it doesn't look... I don't know, it just doesn't make the best use of the technology, I feel like. I mean, there's some great artistry on display, but it's all like... Yeah, it just has this, like, smeary, kind of blurry, imprecise, sloppy, slippery feel to it. Doesn't have impact. Yeah, sure, you can phrase it that way. I don't disagree. And it's not limited to Sierra for that matter. Like, that's kind of why I was interested in playing the Amiga version of this. And I think it's great that we've seen enough different screens here that I'm going to grab, like, Vinod hooked me up with the Amiga version. So next time we're definitely going to check the Amiga version out. Because I feel like a lot of these, like the anti-aliasing and some of the shadows and gradients and stuff, I feel like there might be a stronger sense of intention in the design of some of these screens with fewer colors. Maybe, I don't know. Might be different from screen to screen. But I think, like, broadly, in that, you know, around this era, like early VGA era stuff, the technology and techniques for, like, digitizing hand-drawn and hand-painted art just wasn't really there yet. So I think any games... I mean, it's the same thing with, like, again, it's not exclusive to Sierra. Talking about Monkey Island again, I think Monkey Island 1, the VGA version, I kind of prefer the EGA version. But comparing Monkey Island 1 to Monkey Island 2, even though Monkey Island 2 is so much more elaborate artistically, like in terms of the background specifically, I kind of prefer the look of Monkey 1. Because Monkey 2 has these, like, amazing paintings that were like digitized, that were scanned and kind of just put in the game as is. And as a result, they have these, like, very greebly noisy texture that, for me, like, detracts from the overall impression, because you can, like, you look at the screen and what jumps out at you almost is, like, the compromise in translating the work of art into that format. You look at the EGA version of Monkey 1, the VGA version of Monkey 1, or, like, any of those, and nothing about it looks compromised. I think LucasArts refined their techniques for sure, both in terms of probably technology and technique, but also in terms of artistry itself, like how they designed the paintings. Because if you look at the backgrounds in, like, Day of the Tentacle, or I don't know, Sam and Max, or Full Throttle, like, they look great. they don't have that problem at all. But specifically Monkey Island 2, which was like kind of their first foray. Hell, even Fate of Atlantis. Like I think Monkey Island 2 specifically stands out in having that like kind of greebly noisy look. That even though I love the paintings, the way they're presented in the game, I think detracts from the overall atmosphere and kind of feel of it in a way that makes Monkey Island 2 to me, like aesthetically, maybe my least favorite game in the series. I love the game, but specifically how it looks, how the backgrounds look, because the character animation is awesome and a huge step up from 1. But yeah, that digitization process, like they hadn't quite nailed it. Harley Queen 73, hello, welcome. Yeah, I mean, I would say, like, I guess it's not strictly that, like, early VGA, no one knew what to do with VGA, but specifically, like, taking hand-painted drawings, and, like, translating them into a digital format. I was watching earlier this morning, Crackle Mind Mike was playing Rise of the Dragon, and I think that to me is, like, almost a perfect example, where it's got this like really distinct comic book style with really cool drawings, but every single frame of like every image in that game has like tons of dithering and noise and just like texture to it that clearly like is not part of the actual artwork. It's just like literal artifacts of the digitizing process. And for me, like that detracts so much from it. If you could do like a restored, like an actual remaster of that, where you took the original art and kind of redid it. Honestly, I mean, it would look better at high resolution, but even if you did it in 320 by 240 today with the techniques you could use, I think you could make it look so much better. And I think, yeah, Monkey Island 2 for sure is another game that's just like, it just feels compromised. And I don't love it. I think this for 1990, I guess there's a lot of different factors that go into it, so I'm a little hard pressed to say that I think this looks better than Monkey Island 2. But I think in the very specific context of making use of the VGA colors and I don't know, and compromising with it, like I guess this, because there is the Amiga version that has fewer colors, I guess like in a lot of ways I feel like this relates more closely to Monkey 1 VGA or Last Crusade VGA, and it compares, I think, not particularly favorably or unfavorably to those. Looks fine, but I'm really interested to look at the Amiga version to see if that feels more artistically deliberate or more compromised compared to this. Yeah, more music. Nothing to say about it. The person down here? Yeah, bank clerk. Whoops. The guy behind the counter seems worried. Stained glass. Or is that stained glass? Haven't noticed anything special. Well, yeah, exit door, stairs. Like down to the vault or something. Ashtray. Cigarette butt. Like, I don't even know what we're doing exactly, but I guess we'll, when you have time to open your mouth, he cuts in.
Sorry, senor, but I don't have time to talk.
Alright, okay. Let's just browse then. All these gradients. Metal desk. Oh, it's like behind here? Nothing to say about it. Nothing interesting. Alright. Operate the door. No results. Yeah, I guess you don't have to open doors in this. Lock probably, no? Yeah, the security is not, I mean, for all the military presence, the bank is like weirdly unprotected. I'm almost surprised that we haven't gotten any weird random deaths yet. Actually, we could let's try to pick up flowers in the park. Pathfinding sure is something.
There are so many things to take, and you want this one.
Oh, okay. Fort Knox and more protection with the sleeping soldiers. Yeah.
Get out of here, senor. Nobody's allowed by the entrance to the General de Manigua's palace.
Okay, so that's where this is. Okay. I was just like trying to see if I could trigger an interesting death or something, but no luck. Like I'm surprised. So far, the one death we could get, like pretty. It kind of made sense, and it was at least like self-inflicted. Assuming we should be able to just walk in. Oh, that's pretty cool. Characters look so good. Something interesting. Maybe look at the paint. There's like nothing to interact with on this screen. Before you have time to pronounce a word, the receptionist barks out, "Full!" which is pretty much how he feels about you. Okay, like literally nothing to do here. Who's Jean Paul? Yeah, we looked at the credits. I think someone mentioned that the music was the same guy as Flashback, which I suppose makes sense. Wait, how did I walk up there? That's not what I meant to do. I don't have any like anything that would cause instant death to me or someone else. I just wanted to see if I can get some other death screen, but I can't quite figure anything out. Well, I'm a little bit unsure here. I can definitely, like I said, we're probably going to restart from the beginning in the Amiga version next time. Obviously, getting back here is going to take all of 2 seconds. But I should probably reread the briefing and everything and see, because I don't remember. I just remember something about the CIA guy said, like, meet someone there or whatever. I'm sure there's probably hints as to who you're supposed to meet or where or how. I mean, I'm not clear on whether I could have easily have missed something at the airport, at which point, like, even traveling, like, even taking that taxi probably soft locked us. But I'm not so concerned. No, that would be stealing. Okay, I was going to pay for it, but currency on florist. Notice, you know what? But I don't have any more. I want to buy a flower. Well, I guess I can't. Oh, please. Got work to do. The flowers cost 2 cruceros. Okay, yeah. I mean, that's. Do I need to find more coins? Do I need to? Fucking James Bond digging through coin returns to find some loose change. Very, classic Bond maneuver. I don't know. Well, we can save here anyway. If I can fucking bring up the menu. There we go. Florist. There's the thought. Yeah, I mean, I'm just assuming that I'm either soft locked or oblivious. Yeah, picking through the trash. Because I'm sure, like, something, whatever we could have like, I don't assume that we've done literally everything we could, right? But whatever we missed could be very subtle or insignificant. I mean, I know that I didn't make, like, a huge effort to try to talk to the guy at the baggage conveyor thing, right? That could have been our contact. There could have been more stuff to do there. I was kind of, like, quick to get into cab just to figure out how it worked. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I just wanted to say, as I said, just wanted to get into the game, get it up and running, get a sense for what it's like, read through the manual, get sorted and everything. Let's pause the timer right there. We'll leave it there today, and we'll pick this up at the next opportunity. As mentioned, I have some toys to unbox, which will that be next stream? Not entirely sure. I will continue to be kind of busy through the rest of February, most likely, which will likely have some impact on my streaming schedule. It's hard to say ahead of time with any certainty. It's just that I have to put in some extra hours of work, which means that either I'll be busy working when I would normally stream, or I'm just going to be a lot more tired, so I don't necessarily have the energy to stream, even if I have time. And that's going to likely change on a kind of daily basis, so it's hard to say ahead of time. I'm still, you know, I'm not going to change my schedule too much, except for, like, reshuffling a Saturday stream like today's a little bit. But it's going to be continued Mondays and Wednesdays, except for when I have to cancel streams, basically. Since we got started on this, I would like to kind of keep going and not, like, take too much of a break. But I'm also not super concerned because I guess next time we're playing this, we're probably starting over from the beginning. Not entirely sure. We'll just have to piece things together and see how it goes. But so far I had a lot of fun with this. Yeah, exactly, KB. Like, soft locking here shouldn't be a problem per se. And I'm glad people aren't, like, tripping over themselves to give me hints or whatever. But I don't have a problem asking for it if I feel like I'm, like, at this point I don't feel stuck because there's a lot of things I could wander around and try and everything. But anyway, we'll figure that out next time. But I'm not really worried about it. So hopefully I'll be back to stream on Monday evening. Either we'll continue this or we'll do some action figure unboxing, most likely.
Love you.
Kirby Clement, thank you for the follow. There's been a lot of new followers today, actually, so thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for the subs and everything else. Always appreciate the support and just hanging out. Of course, as mentioned, part of the reason why I'm wrapping things up a little early is because I will be participating in World Tondeuse later tonight, and that's going to be on Sejouf's channel. We'll give a shout out here. Goaty's already linking in chat, but I'm going to give him a shout out anyway. Let's see. Let me give the link here to the website too. If you guys have no fucking clue what we're talking about, you can click that link right there. It is a tournament, an international tournament, where teams of 4 are competing in all kinds of old games that people don't know what they are. Should be fun. Our team, consisting of myself, Goaty, Mike, and Bonkale, will be competing tonight. Starting at 6 p.m., so I need to do a little prep for that. Need to eat something. Should be fun. I will also be guest commentating on another match that happens on Sunday evening. Oh yeah, how many hours from now? A little bit over 2 hours. 2.5 hours, basically, it'll be starting. On Sunday evening as well, I will be doing guest commentary, and I believe Goaty will as well. So that should be fun. Did I forget anything else important? I don't think so. Oh yeah, let me... I think we've got some of these before, but let me drop some links here in case you want to keep tabs on stuff happening on the channel. Like I said, my streaming schedule might be a little sporadic, and when I know how things are going to go, I would usually announce that on Discord. So if you want to keep tabs on when things, when streams are happening or not, I recommend joining my Discord, where we can also chat about my stream, game stuff in general, Games Bond, and what have you. We also do movie nights on occasion. We watch a bunch of video game related movies on Saturday nights. Not tonight because I'll be busy. We also watch Bond movies as they come up in Games Bond. It's been a while now, but the next time we're going to play something based on a specific movie, we'll be watching that together there. So feel free to join in if that sounds like something you'd like to be part of. Also, of course, let me link this one more time. The Bond spreadsheet if you want to keep up or catch up on older streams and whatever else. Thank you, Nightbot. I just posted that, but okay, thank you. Let's then see what is happening on Twitch. We're gonna find someone to raid as we wrap up. And this ocean wave noise, very peaceful. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. Let's see. Oh, Mike's actually still streaming. He might, let's raid Mike before he stops streaming. I'm not sure how much longer he's going to go. He's been going for a good while. But Mike's a really cool streamer. Does a lot of old PC adventure game stuff and all kinds of other PC gaming. So go give him a follow for sure. Thanks a lot for hanging out, guys. I'll see you guys when I see you guys. We'll see. But take care. Have a nice rest of your weekend. Thank you for watching, and